Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop what you're doing and listen.
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Yes, sir.
Happy to have you this morning here on a Fast Break Friday. Chuck's going to join us in about 30 minutes. We've got a good chunk of things to talk about. You heard Dan Enos. I know we talked some football yesterday. We're going to do more of that and hear Chuck's thoughts on the press conferences earlier this week. Going to Columbia. I don't remember if Chuck's there or not, or if he's flying out today, but we'll get his thoughts on the upcoming matchup between the Gamecocks and the Razorbacks. And we've got a few other things to discuss, including Walker White committing to either Auburn, Baylor, or Clemson later on today. Arkansas not on that list. That's the top quarterback in the state, top player in the state, and the impact that'll have on recruiting next year.
Hey, we'll get through this morning. A lot to get to. It's always brought to you on a Friday, on a Fast Break Friday, by QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in advanced regenerative medicine. They got unique protocols to use healing powers, healing agents from your own body to heal the aching joints and to target that pain in your body, repairing and restoring damaged tissue. They've done just that for me, repaired my shoulder with no surgery, no drugs, no downtime, and guess what? No pain any longer. Appointments are available for next week, 479-999-1234. We'll tell you more as we move along throughout the show this morning. That's QC Kinetics, 999-1234, right here in Northwest Arkansas.
No, but you've been clamoring for a road win this season. It could come tomorrow starting at 2:30 as Arkansas will walk into Columbia. That is a game that you should win tomorrow. South Carolina is one of the worst, if not the worst teams in the Southeastern Conference, yet to win a home game in conference all season long. Nick Smith and Anthony Black have connections to one of their players, G.G. Jackson, who did some Team USA stuff, some AAU, EYBL stuff, and they played before. So it's going to be interesting to watch how that play out. He's 6'9". I don't know if they're going to put Devo on him or what, like they did with Brandon Miller. But if you stop him, very good chance you win tomorrow.
Take care of the basketball. I mean, you were telling me before the show, these are statistically the worst two teams in the conference in turnovers. This could be, I mean, if it plays like that, this is going to be just an insufferable basketball game to watch. Nobody wants to watch a combined 30 turnovers or something like that. So hopefully Arkansas will rise above that. I think the challenge in games like this, you think the players don't know all this stuff statistically? They know exactly, that they turn it over a lot and that their net ranking's 283 and that this should be a lay-down win. But good teams, not even great teams, good teams rise above their opponent. You can't play down to the level of South Carolina. There have been times where you felt like you played to the level of your competition. The key is go in there, act like you're Arkansas, act like you're a team that's in the hunt for something in the tournament, a better seed. This could be a damaging loss to your resume, not overcomable, not insurmountable, but you can't play down to the level of your opponent and find yourself in a battle with 5 minutes to go in the game.
No question about it. And when I hear coaches say, we're not worried about this, we're not worried about that, it's kind of like you play out. If you get to the point where it's close down the end of the stretch, you might think, hey, we've got to get this done. We've got to figure it out. Now, this team hasn't shown the ability yet to close out games down the stretch regardless of the opponent on the road. Now at home, little different story. They've had some games that have gotten tied and they figured out, i.e. Missouri and Texas A&M. But again, this is a team that you should beat tomorrow and get your first road win. Tommy, I thought weather wasn't going to be an issue this morning, but apparently it is. I just looked at the iDrive Arkansas app. There's a wreck right by the 540 bridge in, I guess that's between Van Buren and Fort Smith. Is that right? You're going to have to help me with the...
How long have you lived in Fort Smith?
I don't know I just know, I don't even know sort of landmarks. Yeah,
the 540 bridge.
There's one on the 540 bridge. David let us know
takes you from Fort Smith to Van Buren and back. So.
I don't know, and it's not my cup of tea with the.
You've driven over that bridge 1,000 times in 4 years.
Couldn't tell you what it was called prior to David texting and getting on the iDrive Arkansas. But
y'all pray for us out there. Please.
Everything else. Really, in our listening area, with the exception of a few places in central Arkansas, I guess closer.
It's around. I think once you get some daylight thing, bridges and overpasses probably everywhere. It may not be wrecks on 49, but those conditions for bridges and overpasses are going to be the same. Probably in a lot of places where it was around 30, upper 20s last night. So Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think the roadways for driving on are in pretty good shape. I had to make a run to Conway yesterday, and 40 was in pretty good shape. But coming back, I took it a little easier because you just can't see as well. It's dark out there right now. But, yeah, I can see where bridges, I would think even on 49 going, if you're traveling from Northwest Arkansas to south of the tunnel or vice versa, that's still an area that could be a problem today.
I have several Morning Rush listeners that are so excited for next week. They haven't played golf in several weeks, and with the temperatures rising to 60 and 70 in some areas here in Arkansas, they're going to get on the leaks as much as they can.
Yeah. It's going to be cart path only, though. That'll probably be the problem.
Oh,
it's going to be wet.
Is it? That's
well, yeah, it's, just terribly wet out there. So someone backed into the yard. Wasn't you guys at the radio station? Was it you?
I don't think so.
Was it you, Chris? All right. Somebody and rutted up the yard. You got to be careful. You can't get off the pavement right now. Everything ruts up. Everything's wet. All the snow and ice.
I was those piercing eyes looked at me for a second. I was trying to think, did I do that? And I was like, no.
You don't even know where the bridge crosses. So, I mean, that you were a prime suspect for someone that would take their car off the pavement right now. And, I didn't think it was that wet. So.
No, I try and park in the pavement. But I will say, do you abide by the cart path only rule all of the time? When it's out there, yeah, I was gonna say I didn't think you did,
but right now, I mean, everything's covered because you've had so much snow and then you had the ice. Everything's going to be pretty wet for a few days. So, hey, we're brought to you by the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue. I won't have to worry about cart paths. I'm going to the White River next week, and I'm taking one of these. I'm taking several of these Rogues along with me. They work great in a quick current. They're going to be running some generators on the White next week. Or if you're working them on the lake and slow, it's great for cold water bass this time of the year. It allows you to catch more fish because it's got that famous rolling action that suspends and stays in the strike zone longer. Get your Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores everywhere. The Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue.
By the way, Smack Daddy's on my side. He's lived in the River Valley his whole life and has never heard of the 540 bridge. When it comes to landmarks,
he's never heard. What do you mean never heard of?
I'm just telling you what he texted in this morning. That's not one of my buddies either. That's a listener. So here's the thing about me. My landmarks are restaurants. Like that's what That
would be like saying, well, I've never heard of I-40 or I've never heard of I-49.
I've heard of it, but I couldn't tell you where it is on a map. Like I could tell you that Walmart's probably close to the bridge or whatever, but I don't know. Stores and restaurants are kind of where I think about and stuff. I don't have the need to. Google Maps.
I don't believe anyone that's lived here their entire life doesn't know what 540 and the 540 bridge.
Just telling you what he texted in. I Google Maps.
That would be like growing up in Fayetteville and you don't know where I-49's at. That'd be the equivalent.
Probably, if it didn't have the I-49 or 59 or whatever you just said, I wouldn't be able to place where it is on the map. If you told me what restaurant was near it or what it was like, what exit, like MLK or Weddington, I could probably help you out if that's what that is. But I don't know.
What's the main road that takes you to Weddington?
Like that takes you to Weddington?
Yeah.
I mean, I always got on saying from college.
No, the answer is I-49. If you drove from here to Weddington, where would you would take I-49? And you know where you could go? CJ's Butcher Boy Burgers.
Yeah, you could. I was talking with Keith yesterday, actually. If you haven't stopped by and see Keith and his team lately, you need to go by and see him at the Weddington location in Fayetteville, the Arkansas Avenue location in Russellville. CJ's Butcher Boy Burgers. When all you do are burgers, they have to be the best. And Tommy and I will tell you, they are at CJ's. More of the Morning Rush coming up next.
You're in the middle of Fast Break Friday on the Morning Rush presented by QC Kinetics. Get real lasting relief from chronic joint pain.
Home is everything. It's your sanctuary, your command center, your music room, and your art studio. Video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, Sakhalin.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappy.
Nice speck.
We got trophies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from the NFL and bowl season to esports. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. We're the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Ed Sheeran used to sing in the church choir, but now bad habits reveal his desire. The old saying goes, sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. God knows you can't overcome. That's why the faith that saves is trusting what Jesus has already done. There's nothing else you can say or use or do. Bad habits lead to doom. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash.
One call cleans it all.
When you stay overnight, you want the accommodations to feel comfortable and feel like home. Well, at Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, you get exactly that. You can check out all their locations at bphotels.com. They have locations in Fayetteville, Bentonville, Little Rock, Jonesboro, Conway, El Dorado, Arkadelphia, North Little Rock, Bryant, Hot Springs, Ardmore, Oklahoma, and coming soon to Kansas City. bphotels.com. Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, looking forward to serving you in 2023.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Buy your vehicle today, and that means you can get out of your old ride and into a great car, truck, or SUV from Rhodes Chevrolet. In fact, trucks starting at only $14,482. Yeah, trucks starting at $14,482. Find new Rhodes Chevrolet, just off I-540 exit 2A Van Buren. Prices you'll love, people you can trust.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Good morning to the Morning Rush, everybody.
Devo left wing, that's wide. Devontae with a three. Davis with the three ball, and the Hogs are up 38-31.
Watch the Morning Rush on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. Just search Hit That Line.
All right, back here on the Morning Rush, ESPN Arkansas, hitthatline.com. A lot to get into this morning. Chuck's going to join us in about 15 minutes. Excited to get from here. I want to talk about Walker White here just for a sec. He is going to be committing today between Baylor, Auburn, and Clemson. Kind of the impact that's going to have on this next class next year. We'll get into that coming up.
Hey, brought to you by our friends at Matchstick Studios. If you have a business that has a website that needs an overhaul, a rehab, or maybe you've started a new business and you don't have a web presence at all, it's maybe one of the most important things your business has to have nailed down. That's where you make the first impression, is online with most every new customer, and even current customers, is your website. They're all going to Google you, find you, go to your site, figure out your service menu, whatever. How does your web presence look? If you need some help there, our friends at Matchstick Studios can create you a custom, great-looking website, and they take care of everything, and it's the website you need for $95 a month. I know it may sound too good to be true. 479-755-3043, but trust me, it's not. I've got dozens of clients and friends that we've referred to Matchstick Studios, and they are all extremely happy. 479-755-3043, or go to modularorange.com.
I got a chance to catch up with Walker last week. You can find that on our Hit That Line podcast network. His dad and my dad are good friends. I didn't know kind of how quickly he was going to potentially commit somewhere. And now it looks like today he's going to decide between the Baylor Bears, the Clemson Tigers, and the Auburn Tigers. Is this a bad look for the U of A that the number one player in the state, a top 10 quarterback in the country, a top overall 100 kid in the country, is not selecting you even as a consideration in his top 3 schools?
But he's not signing, right? He's just making a commitment. And, does that mean it's game over? No. Is the best-looking girl at school maybe getting engaged to another guy in another school? Maybe. But she's not getting married yet. So there's still time for Dan Enos and this offense and this staff. You also got to remember he's got a direct connection with his brother playing at the University of Arkansas under this coaching staff. So he knows the inside scoop, the inside story. So it's not over. Is it a good look? No, it's a worse look if he chooses Auburn today. So I guess you should be rooting for Baylor because your dad's connection. Maybe Baylor's where you want him to go, but it's a worse look if he ends up at Auburn. But I don't know that this is necessarily over at this point.
Okay. I mean, I want Walker to have success anywhere he goes for obvious reasons, but I just wanted to kind of get a sense from our listening base what they thought about that. Now, if you think about it, Dan Enos came in really late on this recruiting process, and Walker's a highly decorated player. He's going to have a senior year at Little Rock Christian. One of the things I talked about to him was the opportunity to play for a state championship. Circle, I don't know if it's in Greenwood or LRCA this year. Circle that Kane Archer, Walker White matchup. You got the best quarterback in 2024 against the best QB in 2026, which will be a lot of fun. I'm excited about it. I know that's a game that a lot of people are talking about. Walker's dad went to PA, and that's a team I know he'd love to beat, not just in the regular season, but the state championship as well if they get to that point. And like you said, I like the engagement analogy they used.
I was surprised that Ole Miss wasn't in that group of 3 because they, I think, made 2 different recruiting visits, unofficials, to Ole Miss. So I was really kind of surprised that wasn't amongst the top 3, and only one SEC team amongst them. So that, I don't know what that says. I mean, but this thing is far from over. It's just February. You're a year out from National Signing Day, essentially. Now you're 10 and a half months or whatever from the early signing period. We'll see how firm this stays. You know the family, and you know him far better. I've watched him play. I got to work one of his games way early last year when they played Shiloh Christian. He's a tremendous quarterback, and there's not many. I mean, everyone knows the tradition and the quality of the program at Shiloh. He brought Little Rock Christian in there, and they had their way that night. That does not happen very often at Shiloh. So this is a great player, and like you said, the state's top player. It's never a good look when the in-state school, particularly when you're the only one, loses out on the top player in the state. I don't care if he's a left tackle or the quarterback or a wide receiver. You've got to get the top player. So hopefully, and I suspect that Dan Enos is not done working on this particular situation.
I would agree on that. Jared in Russellville wants to chime in on this. Jared, good morning.
Hey, Ty. Good morning, guys. Good morning, Tommy. Good to hear from you guys this morning. Hey, I want to ask you a question, Ty. When you're talking to him, did what I consider the misuse of his older brother, because I think he could have been a great possession receiver, just like Morgan was for us. He ran great routes. Was that ever a topic when John David White, whenever he was here, was that ever a topic of them misusing his older brother? I'll hang up and listen.
Jared, appreciate the call. So that's not something that Walker and I discussed. To be frank, full disclosure, John David and I are friends, so we have had conversation about football and stuff. I know that He's actually he's going to get married this year, which is kind of cool. But I don't know if that played into it. I felt like JD could have had an impact as well. But we got to remember, these coaches see these guys every single day. And as much as I wanted JD to get on the field, as much I wanted to contribute and be a Razorback, it unfortunately just didn't happen. I guess he played a little bit, but really sparing in spots, played, I guess, a lot more at UCA and contributed more there. I don't know if that played into it. That would be something you'd probably have to ask Walker and ask JD and ask David, their dad, that conversation. I think and not to say that you don't commit to a head coach, but as a quarterback, you really want to know who your OC and QB is. And not that Enos doesn't have a decorated background, but for him to arrive this late, I think he's got these relationships with other guys that are, because Riley, think about this. I don't know who Auburn's OC is, but you got Hugh Freeze there. Then at Baylor, you got Aranda, couldn't tell you. And then Lincoln Riley's brother, Garrett, was at TCU, where Walker was considering, and then took the Clemson OC job.
Yeah, Clemson was the third team in that mix.
He has not told me this whatsoever. If I had to guess, I would expect a Clemson commitment later today. I don't have any.
What makes you believe that?
I just think that's the best situation for him of the three that he is potentially going to.
Well, of the three programs, Clemson's clearly a step or two ahead of Auburn and Baylor. I mean, that doesn't take a lot of analysis to figure that out. So if you go to Clemson versus even Arkansas or a lot of other places, maybe Alabama and right now Georgia would be the exceptions. All right, take Georgia and Bama out of the mix. Is there a better program in the country than Clemson? Mm-hmm. I know they hadn't been to the standard they set in recent times, but as far as programs, that's about as good as it gets.
Ethan from Center Ridge thinks we have 9 months that we can flip him. He's right. And again, I thought you made a great analogy. It's not over yet, but there is some work to do. I think Enos and company know that. JT and Hot Springs asked the question, is it a bad look? He thinks it is a bad look.
You're down 8 at the under 4 timeout. You got to get busy. That's what it seems like right now. Hey, brought to you by World of Wireless. 877-305-DISH is their number. Right now, if you are a DirecTV customer and you have lost the Newsmax channel, they have it with Dish, and you can make that move right now and get a 3-year price guarantee. It's only a 2-year commitment, and they can install you this weekend and have you up and going. Voice-activated remotes, whole home DVR, all the extras and features. I love the fact that the sling is built into the hopper, means you can watch TV on the go. 877-305-DISH for WOW. World of Wireless.
All right, Chuck's going to join us when we come back. We're going to talk about Arkansas, South Carolina next.
You're in the middle of Fast Break Friday on the Morning Rush, presented by QC Kinetics. Get real lasting relief from chronic joint pain.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Making Moves is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs.
After redshirting his first year at Ohio State, Joe Burrow spent the next 2 years as JT Barrett's backup. With Dwayne Haskins on the roster, Burrow didn't see much playing time and decided to transfer. LSU head coach Ed Orgeron zeroed in on Burrow and landed him. In his second season at LSU, Burrow led the Tigers to a 15-0 record, a national championship, and arguably the best season ever by a college quarterback.
Build your winning team today. Go to linkedin.com/sports.
Teams that win college bowls have great recruits, and great recruiting starts with great conversations. That's why when you post a job for free, LinkedIn Jobs taps into a network of over 875 million professionals to find the right people for your role. LinkedIn Jobs helps you narrow down to only the most qualified candidates, which means you can start hiring the right people faster. Go to linkedin.com/sports to post your job for free. That's linkedin.com/sports. Terms and conditions apply.
What's new in 23 at the Golf Nut? Peen G430 woods and irons arriving January the 26th, and tailor-made Stealth 2 woods arriving February 17th. New Titleist Pro V1 will be in stock January the 24th. Book a time on their Hitty base with the TrackMan technology, or play a round of golf on one of their mini courses like Bethpage Black or Pebble Beach. Stop by the Golf Nut today, 5121 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith. Your #1 golf shop since 1994.
Happy New Year, everyone. Hi, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, the home of inflation elimination. That's right, we've had enough. Thanks to our live market value pricing, our prices are dropping and our customers are saving now. And you can too on a great selection of Rath Road Ready vehicles, the best used cars you can buy. Plus, our non-commissioned solution specialists are there for you. Let them worry about making all the numbers work. It's what they're paid to do. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in our Meineke Car Care Center with half-off brakes and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. For even more savings and protection, ask about our new Meineke Miles service contracts and prepaid maintenance products. They'll help you keep your car in tip-top shape while saving you money. So if you're like us and you want 23 to be the best year ever and you're ready for some inflation elimination, start today by driving better in a nicer, newer car from Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online at rathauto.com.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance, and Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren, 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag technology without the headache.
If you farm, you have enough to worry about without worrying about how much more you're going to owe once your current variable or balloon interest rate increases. Interest rates are on the rise. This is the time to check out Farm Credit's long-term fixed rate options. Farm Credit offers the longest terms in the ag industry. Long-term fixed rates mean there's no surprises and your payments remain the same for the life of your loan. That's peace of mind in this changing interest rate climate. Find a Farm Credit office near you at myaglender.com. Set your operation up for success and rest easy. Equal housing lender.
At Frank Rowe Furniture, spring is on the way, and Frank Rowe Furniture is ready. We have new arrivals on Made in the USA furniture at unbelievable prices. We have two-piece sectionals starting at $13.49, recliners as low as $3.99, sofa and love starting at $13.99. Frank Rowe Furniture offers in-store no-credit check financing with a manager approval or a SEMA financing or SNAP financing. Frank Rowe Furniture, 405 4th Street, Barling, Arkansas. Best seats in the house.
Clogs? Nobody wants a clog. Westark Plumbing knows that clogs are a serious issue. They can signal that bigger problems are on the way. So contact Westark Plumbing while the problem is small. Slow shower and sink drains, gurgling toilets, and outside cleanouts making a mess? Call 479-646-5151 today. Westark Plumbing and expert drain cleaning since 1993. They keep you flowing. If you have slow drains or high water bills, call Westark Plumbing and expert drain cleaning service. 646-5151.
Peace of mind in buying a quality and well-maintained vehicle is top priority at Carco Auto Sales. Carco Auto Sales has been serving the River Valley and eastern Oklahoma for over 40 years and offers a variety of late model, low-mileage vehicles at unbeatable values. Come see the team at 2810 Midland Boulevard today or give them a call at 783-1722. You can check them out online at buyfromcarco.com. Carco Auto Sales. When you're ready.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Y'all ready for this?
You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Tommy's telling all the employees when he gives them scrapers on their cars so they won't miss work, hey, you guys make sure you don't slip here at the building. If you're going to fall, you get off the property here before you fall. Ty, when he starts bringing in sleeping bags, that's when you know you're in trouble.
Yeah. Chuck, I saw a sleeping bag earlier this week, man. It was scary.
You're in trouble.
It was scary,
You're in trouble.
man. Scary. Good thing he hired some dogs to work for him, so I think we'll be all right. All right, we're going to talk with Chuck coming up. He's flying out to Columbia, South Carolina, the Gamecocks and the Razorbacks tomorrow at 2:30. SEC Network right here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. We'll get his thoughts on the game coming up.
Fast Break Friday always brought to you by QC Kinetics, the nation's leader when it comes to healing and fixing your joint pain in your body. If you're not doing the things you love, you're skipping out on fishing trips, hunting trips, golf outings because the back pain, the knee pain, the shoulder pain is more than you want to go through. If every day is just a challenge, QC Kinetics can help heal your body with your own body's regenerative properties. The healing agents in your body can repair those aching joints with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. So stop taking pain meds and discover this remarkable alternative that pro athletes have been using for years. Don't put it off any longer. Call QC Kinetics now, 479-999-1234. That's 999-1234 for QC Kinetics.
So I don't know about y'all. When I think of South Carolina basketball, really only two names pop in my head. Cedarius Thornwell, who took them to the Final Four, and then Frank Martin, who's the coach of the team. There's not a lot of illustrious history, is there, Chuck?
You don't remember Dave
Odom?
Well,
you got to go way back.
Don't know Dave Odom? Okay.
I can't say I know who that is.
Yeah, you got to go way back. Dave Odom runs the Maui tournament now. They've had success here and there, flash in the pan stuff. They had the run to the Final Four when Frank Martin was there, but that's really the only year that he was there that they were a real threat. They've just, and I don't know why exactly. I mean, there are a lot of good players over in that area, but they've just struggled to win.
That's it's kind of odd. And Georgia basketball, with the exception of Dominique Wilkins, and I guess they just had Anthony Edwards, but I would think being where they are, 45 minutes to an hour from Atlanta, that Georgia basketball should never be as bad as it's been the last 2 decades or so. South Carolina, like you just said, Chuck, is kind of that same ballpark.
Well, I don't know that I don't know that basketball matters the way it does here, or the way it does maybe at some of the other places in the SEC. I mean, Georgia's a football school first, last, and always, and I think South Carolina fancies itself that way, but they're really not. But football is more important to them than basketball. They've got a great arena. I mean, it's a beautiful arena. It looks a lot like Bud Walton.
Isn't it the same floor plan? Didn't they use the same basic blueprints? Because they built theirs not too many years after Bud Walton was built. And I've heard the story somewhere in the past where basically they copied the blueprints of Bud Walton when they built theirs.
Well, they came over here and looked at it, and there are some similarities. I'm sure the architecture firm's the same one, and there are many similarities when you look at it. They've used their facility for a lot of things outside of basketball, whereas Bud Walton Arena's primarily been a basketball arena. They've used it for a few other things here and there, but primarily a basketball arena. They've used theirs really as a multi-purpose facility over there. They have big concerts and such in theirs.
He got Walmart shareholders. I know we had a concert. I think it was there. I can't remember if it was there or Barnhill my freshman year. But is that kind of surprising that Bud Walton isn't used for other things?
No, that was the plan all along.
Okay.
That was the plan all along. It was a plan from the very beginning.
That's
why it's 30 years old, and it needs some updating. But when you're inside and sitting in your seat and looking at the arena, that's as modern as any arena out there, and that's a 30-year-old building.
People forget South Carolina came in with you in the SEC way back when in the 90s, and I know that there are some similarities. Chuck Clay likes to make the comparison of South Carolina and Arkansas. He feels like the two fan bases are similar. I know they have Clemson in the state as well, but basketball-wise, there's really not a lot of similarities between the two programs outside of the facility y'all are talking about.
I got to be honest. I don't think about South Carolina a lot because we don't play them much in football anymore. They're not the permanent opponent, and they've just been kind of so-so in basketball. It's a long trip over there, and the only time we're ever there is to play a game. I mean, I don't know that Razorback fans find themselves passing through Columbia, South Carolina all that much, and so I don't think about them all that much. I think that now I will say this: they are very rabid about football. Even in years when they've not been good, they're very rabid. They put 70,000, 80,000 people in their stadium when they were a 500 team. Now, it would be empty at halftime. Maybe not empty, but about half of them would be gone. But they always filled it up, and I was always impressed by that. But it's never been that way in anything else except when they were really good in baseball. When they were really good in baseball, they brought people into the ballpark. But I remember when they weren't good at baseball and nobody came. So they fancy themselves as a football-first school, and I guess they are.
Well, they've never had their Steve Spurrier in basketball. You know, they had
Lou
Holt,
right. Or Lou Holtz for that matter.
Well, Lou Holtz didn't really win big, but
he was a big name.
He was a big name. They have not found their Spurrier for basketball, and they were, I guess, we're hoping Frank Martin would have been that guy, and he did get him to a Final Four, so there is some fairness there. But was it Frank Martin or was it Thornwell? I mean, I don't know. Was it Belichick or was it Brady? I don't know. But point being, they're going to have a coach that's a Hall of Fame level coach stay for a while at South Carolina, and that's just doesn't seem likely right now.
Well, Lamont Paris, don't know a lot about him. He's a first-year coach. He's got a bunch of transfers in there, kind of like everybody else does. And, you know, it's tough to build. And, you know, let's just be honest. A lot of these schools are looking to catch lightning in a bottle. It's why we hired Stan Heath several years ago. I mean, you're trying to catch lightning in a bottle and, you know, hoping you don't have to spend a fortune to do it. And I don't know that this is the guy. He might be. But, you know, so far they're not very good.
Now, they have an elite women's program, no question about that. So, I mean,
they're kind of like what Tennessee was for a while.
Right.
They've got big crowds for women's games, and nobody comes to the men's games.
They pulled what some considers the best player in the country in G.G. Jackson. I know Nick was 24/7 Sports. I think he was on ESPN. Now, he played at Columbia High School, so he's right there, and that's kind of the connection there. I am surprised occasionally. Y'all were talking about the football team. Beamer brought in a top 15 class. You just mentioned Dawn Staley, what she's done at their program. And they've won a national championship in, the last decade or so in baseball? I think that's right.
It may be close to a decade, but
10,
they've been nationally
years.
They have won national champion. Chuck may know better on the years. I think 2012 or 13 might be their last national title, but they've obviously been very competitive. To the last few years, they've fallen off to their own standards.
So
well, you got to have the right guy. They had the right guy in baseball. Ray Tanner's a Hall of Fame, college baseball Hall of Fame coach. And you got to have the right guy. They had the right guy when Spurrier was there in football. You know, and you've got to have a great head coach. I don't care where you are in the SEC. I don't care which school you're at.
Or what sport.
If you don't have a great head coach, you're not in the game.
Yeah. That's why Dawn Staley she's a great coach. I mean, that's why she's winning national championships.
I know that Mike Neighbors and company saw that firsthand when they went to Columbia. And that is just, they've kind of taken over as the perennial SEC team, which Pat Summitt and Tennessee had for quite some time. You got, this is the longest, Tommy and I were discussing this yesterday, Chuck. This is the longest, I think, trip maybe outside of Gainesville that you take in the Southeastern Conference. Does that have any effect on a basketball team? I know it's about a 3-hour plane ride, right?
No, it's not that long. It's it'll take less than 2 hours to get over there and about 2 hours to come back. I mean, it's all right. It's look, they're flying on a chartered airplane. You know, nobody's having to walk. Nobody's having to get on a bus until you get to the airport. I mean, nobody's having to do anything like that. So, no, that stuff's overrated.
One of the things Musk mentioned yesterday is the fact that every away visiting arena they've been in this year has been sold out. And, I mean, the Baylor atmosphere this past Saturday was awesome. I know that you would have loved to win that game, but do we expect a hostile crowd as bad as South Carolina is on Saturday?
I don't know. You know, they have not drawn well, and as you would imagine. But, you know, it's a Saturday afternoon game, and I've always believed that if a bad team is going to play its best game, it's going to be on a Saturday afternoon at home sometime in early February, late January. That's when they're going to play their best game. And Saturday afternoon games are different. They just are. And I think they'll have more people there than they might normally. It doesn't mean it's going to be a hostile environment. It's not going to be like Baylor. It's not even going to be like LSU back in December. But Saturday afternoon games on the road, you better come ready to play, because if there's going to be an upset, that's when it's going to happen. That scared me to death, frankly, over at Vanderbilt, because they had their biggest crowd of the year. Part of that was because it was a ranked team, but part of it was because it was a Saturday afternoon. And those are the games that I believe you better be ready to play, because if you're on the road, you're very liable to get the other team's best effort.
See, I believe Arkansas has got to find a way to rise above playing to the level of the competition. There's been moments where you could make the argument Arkansas has played down to the level of their competition. That's the trap you can't fall into. You got to take. These are two teams that don't take care of the basketball very well. On paper, there's a few things that could turn this game ugly, but Arkansas's got to find a way to rise above that and play at seemingly their own level and not let South Carolina pull them down tomorrow.
They've had 4 straight games where they've played top caliber defense. If they'll have a 5th straight game where they play top caliber defense, they'll win this game.
You're right.
That's it's a game that, I mean, when you start out 1-5, you got to win some games. You got to win some games. You had 3 straight home games, and you had to win them all. I mean, Muss said that himself. He said we had to, and they did. There are certain games on the road you feel like that, that's a chance to go get a road win, and there aren't going to be a whole lot of them. And this is one of those games. But as we said earlier this week, you don't want to be the one. I mean, you don't want to be the one that goes over there and they beat on a Saturday at home. You don't want to be that team. Because, I mean, Arkansas is not even ranked. South Carolina wins this game, they'll rush the floor.
No, because they're going to
make you don't want to be that team.
You're 4-5 going in. You could come out 5-5. You lose this game, you'll be at 7. They're going to make it 2 losses on your record.
That bad.
It's that bad.
You referenced the month February, Chuck, and I know that Muss has said this team's not the same as the last 2, but he has won 13 of his last 14 games in February. He has one loss.
We've been really good in February. And
I think that only loss was on the road against Tennessee 2 years ago, if I remember that correct. So, I mean, he has been on fire as of late. And you get an opponent that's just, I know he can't walk in the locker room and say, they're just not any good. Like, you have no reason to lose this game.
I wouldn't go that far. These guys are all on scholarship. If you've been out there at that level, I think everybody understands. Everybody's good enough to beat you. South Carolina's not, they've not won a home game yet. And would it be a bad loss? Oh, gosh, yeah, it'd be a bad loss. No doubt about it. But to sit here and say that, you just go out there and go through the motions and don't screw up and you'll win, I think – that's a point where you're disrespecting your opponent, and that's when you get beat. These guys are on scholarship, and you better have some respect for that when you go over there.
I think you just got to avoid that mentality. And I don't know if it's you identify some things you specifically want to work on. To me, you get out to a fast start.
You want to win the game. You want to win the game by 1 point. Run to the bus.
Well. Yes, but I think the key to that is you want to get out to a fast start, not let any hope fester in that arena tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, you certainly don't want the home team to build momentum, but I mean, I think Arkansas's got a chance to win this game. As I said, I think if their defense is like it's been the last 4 games, I think you win. I think you come home with a W, and if you do that, then you're 1-4 in a row in conference, and you're going to Kentucky, and you feel like you got a shot.
But let's not pretend like we're Alabama or Tennessee or Purdue or Houston or someone of that nature rolling in here tomorrow. Arkansas's got a lot of things they need to work on themselves, but this is the game you can't lose if you're building a tournament resume. You could put a major hole in your resume with a loss at a place like South Carolina.
Here's the thing. When you're 4-5 going on the road, I don't think you can sit here and say that anything's guaranteed. I mean, I don't think anything's guaranteed. I mean, this team was 1-5 in conference play, and we're sitting here talking like, hey, if they'll just go over there and not screw up, they'll win this game easily. I don't see that. I think the thing that, and you were talking about February, Ty, the thing that I think Muss has always been able to do is get his players to play for one another. I believe that right now we are just beginning to see this team really play for one another. Now there are a lot of different factors that have come into play, for it to be that way. But I think they're beginning to play for one another now. I think we've seen that in the last 3 or 4 ball games. And to me, that's the key in all this. They've got good players. They've got components that can take you a long way. But, I think that the guys that are left are putting their personal agendas aside, and they're playing to win the game. And that's why I'm encouraged right now.
Hey, do you have a loan with a variable or balloon interest rate and you're worried about the rising cost of interest? You know, with interest rates, they went up another 1/4 point this week, and the Fed's not done. Farm Credit can lock you in with a long-term fixed rate for the life of your loan. Farm Credit's long-term fixed rates offer peace of mind in changing economic times. In fact, they've got the longest terms in the ag industry. Talk to Farm Credit today. Find an office near you at myaglender.com. That's myaglender.com. Farm Credit is an equal housing lender. Number one question still being asked about this basketball program, this team is, hey, is Nick Smith going to play? You know, so,
Only took 45 minutes into the show to ask.
Oh, we've had several texts about it. I mean, that's the question people yesterday. I had two people. You think tomorrow? I don't know. Musk was kind of tight-lipped about it in his press conference. So, Chuck, is he going to play?
I don't know.
I
don't know. I mean,
he said there's no update.
I mean, do you think if Musk doesn't tell you that I'm going to come on here and tell you, even if I know, do you think Musk is going to call me up and say, hey, he's playing this week? Of course not. They'll. I think that, obviously the thing here is that, what was said at the beginning of January was, he's not going to play in the month of January. Well, everyone's taking that to me. Well, that must mean he's going to play in February, and he may. I don't know, but. As I've said before, I don't think about this anymore. I know fans do, and I get that. I don't think about it anymore. If he's there and he's playing, that's great.
Here's why I don't believe it would be a road game where you make your first return, because if there's a problem, if there's an issue, you don't want to have to get on the plane to get back to your own training room. You want to have everything available to examine, deal with, any potential issue in your own facility, in your own building, with no plane ride at 30,000 feet, all of these things following your first time back. I don't believe it will be a road game when he returns.
Next Saturday, Mississippi State. That's where I said that 2 or 3 weeks ago. I figured he was going to come back would be for it. Now, there is the G.G. Jackson connection. I know that AB, the connection there, and Nick has one with him as well, so I don't know if that would play into it at all, but I tend to agree with you. I think Matt Townsend and Nick Smith would feel much more comfortable than being in Bud Walton Arena than they would be in Columbia. Yeah, that too. But I think this, I know that it's been frustrating. Chuck, you probably got that question more than we have from every Razorback fans that
Not anymore, because I just say the honest answer. I don't know. And look, nothing disrespectful, but neither does anybody else.
Do you think even Musk knows? Realistically,
I don't know if he knows or not. I think we're overanalyzing this. Does Musk know? Does this and that? I mean, I don't know.
But here's what I do know: it's the number one thing people are still talking about around this program. It's still the number one question. That's why I brought it up.
I understand that. I get that, but I think that people feel like there's a definitive answer out there that they're not being told. That everybody knows, but they're just not telling them.
We're going to will it into existence, Chuck. We're going to keep talking about it till he plays.
Talk about it till when he does. Right. We'll be, but and when he does, none of us will have a damn thing to do with it.
Here's where I think fans get frustrated is when they see AB going through a knee contusion, a wrist injury, Jalen Graham with his Achilles, Ricky Council with his back, Devo's dealing with something. All these guys are seemingly playing. Not necessarily hurt, but they're hampered by stuff. And again, I'm not a doctor. I haven't had conversations with Nick or his dad or his family about what's actually going on, but they're watching these guys grimacing and putting out all this effort and energy for the Arkansas Razorbacks. And then there's the other guy that, again, we don't know what's actually going on with his knee.
That's not fair. I mean, because you don't know. So, I mean, why would you?
But that's what I'm saying. Because we don't know, we have all these assertions, we have all these thoughts that go through our head like they do with every other fan base that this guy is not putting forth like the other guys are.
I don't view Nick Smith that way. I don't look at it in that light.
Then how do you look at it?
Well, I mean, A, we don't know the extent of it, but B, I also understand what's at risk for him personally, financially. I understand why they want to make sure. And the other thing is, whatever the issue is, it seems from the outside looking in, there's some kind of reoccurring problem that they don't want to have reoccur again. That's why they're seemingly taking all of these precautions. So I don't look at it, boy, he's letting his team down. I don't look at it, like, boy, he's bailed out on you. I don't see it that way at all, and I think it's unfair of anyone that does view Nick in that light.
So for Anthony and who is another projected first-round pick, not as high as Nick. How do you feel about him? And I don't know, again, it's hard to compare one injury to another, and I don't know if he's dealing with could be reoccurring or could hurt him down the road, but he's obviously not fully healthy right now, and he's playing. And you watch him each time, he's not, you could just tell by the way he acts in his face.
KJ Jefferson wasn't fully healthy, and he played some football games.
But you're talking about
that's
financial.
Just part of sports.
I realize that. You're talking about financial ramifications down the road. You've got two guys that are projected first round, Anthony Black and Nick Smith Jr. One's projected higher than the other. There's a little more money involved. One guy is playing through stuff despite being projected, despite getting money at some point from the national.
I understand.
And you've got another guy who is not. That's what fans are looking at.
Not all injuries are equal.
I realize that, but again, we don't know what's going on, so it's like.
Well, they're not going to give you his medical chart. I mean, what do you want?
Well, I think what happened with Trevor in Brazil, ACL. Next day we found out.
Well, it was definitive. I mean, you know what's going on there. You got an ACL, and it's got to be operated. You're done. There's nothing else to say.
But then fans are like, we don't know how to talk about this or say because it's so. In the back. It's in the back room. We have nothing to go
Because they don't know what to say. Because you know what? Probably Nick Smith and his camp don't know the definite answer or the finality of where this is necessarily going. Sometimes
You're both right.
You just don't know.
You're both right. We don't know. And there are millions of dollars at stake. But, Ty, you're right, too. Because there are a lot of people out there that do think the very same thing you just said. Mm-hmm. They do think that. I know that. I've talked to them, and I know there are people that believe exactly what you just said. But here's the thing. There's just not anything we can do about it. There's not anything we can do about it. We live in an era where they're even talking about paying high school kids now. It's all about getting paid, whether we like it or not. When you get to that pro level, it's all about getting paid. I mean, we talked about in Sean Payton couple of days ago. Did you see what he's going to make to coach the Broncos? About $17 million a year. It's all about getting paid, boys, and that's what this deal's about.
And those radio salaries going to get bumped up.
Well, you're second in line. But
all right,
But the reality, we think they know. We think Nick Smith and his team know, and they know exactly when he's going to return. And the reality is, they probably don't know it definitively any better than we do. But we think they're holding on to some secret. They got this nugget of information they just won't share, and maybe we can pry it out of them. And that's not always how it works.
Competitors last, though. Competitors last. You may get some money up front, but competitors last.
WT Equipment. They got 8 locations across northern Louisiana and across Arkansas. They're in Rogers. They're in Springdale. They're in Searcy. They're in Berryville. So there's one near you that has New Holland agricultural and construction equipment, sales, service, parts, everything you need, whether it's for projects next summer or putting up the harvest next fall, they've got it, plus construction equipment as well. Find a location near you online at WTEquip.com. That's WTEquip.com.
Hour 2 is next on the Morning Rush.
When you need a plumber, call the name you know and trust. Ashley Air. The same great people that take care of your heating and cooling system can also meet your plumbing needs. Right now, take $50 off any plumbing repair or get a $129 drain cleaning plus a 2-year parts and labor warranty. Restrictions apply. If you have clogged drains, Ashley Air is the one to call. Go to ashley.air.com to schedule your plumbing service. That's ashley.air.com. Proud sponsors of Razorback Athletics.
Roger Scott for Leaf Guard. That's Leaf Guard Gutters, the only true one-piece seamless covered gutter system that's guaranteed to never ever clog that's on the market. And how important is that? If you have old regular gutters clogged with muck and mud and shingle grit, add some of this rainwater, toss in freezing temperatures, and now you got a disaster on your hands. That frozen concoction that's just hanging on could cost you big bucks if it rips away from your roof. Stop the insanity. Get Leaf Guard Gutters and rest easy. Act now and save your hard-earned money by taking advantage of the winter savings sale. Half off labor on a complete Leaf Guard gutter system. New orders only. Some restrictions may apply. This sale does not include material costs, so make sure you ask a sales associate for all the deets on that and the 18 months no interest financing, as well as senior and military discounts. The winter savings sale at Leaf Guard of Arkansas. Call them now at 501-664-5400 or visit leafguardandmore.com. WheelsRV.com.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV. Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
We've invented a new messaging system using the crisp sounds of Bud Light. Crisp Code, Lesson 86. This is how you say, gee willikers, it's a hot one. Let's cool down with some Bud Lights. And that's it for today. Bud Light, crisp.
Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
Make today more interesting with Betly's online sports betting action. You can bet on pro and college games with Betly, the only online sports book in Arkansas and Tennessee. And right now, every new customer can cash in on a $250 risk-free first bet. Download the Betly Sportsbook app now in the Apple and Google Play Store or visit Betly.com. With Betly, every game matters. Must be 21 or older and located in Arkansas or Tennessee to bet. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
With over 40 years combined experience, the team at the law offices of Craig L. Cook understand the definition of work, real work, working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Your husband is pretty handy to have around. He makes the world's best mac and cheese. He's in the Tickle Monster Hall of Fame. And he can teach anyone how to throw strikes. But a busted pipe in a basement full of water?
Honey, I think we need a plumber.
Is a little out of his league. That's where a homeowner's policy from Shelter Insurance comes in handy. We'll help get your house back in order and your husband back to what he does best.
Call Ted McAvoy in Van Buren or Chris Dooley in Fort Smith.
Peace of mind in buying a quality and well-maintained vehicle is top priority at Carco Auto Sales. Carco Auto Sales has been serving the River Valley and eastern Oklahoma for over 40 years and offers a variety of late model, low mileage vehicles at unbeatable values. Come see the team at 2810 Midland Boulevard today or give them a call at 783-1722. You can check them out online at buyfromcarco.com. Carco Auto Sales. When you're ready.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, a big improvement in the weather. We're looking at sunshine from start to finish. Our high this afternoon, upper 30s to low 40s. Clear and cold tonight. Overnight low will drop down in the mid to upper 20s. We're going to be even warmer on Saturday with our high in the upper 40s. Sunday on our way to the upper 50s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The loudest stadium I've ever been in is Arkansas. My ears was ringing so hard for the noise. That was a pretty crazy environment.
ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com. You're listening to The Morning Rush live from the Busch Light Studios on ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris, Fort Smith.
This hour of The Morning Rush is brought to you by Farm Credit. From farms to land, livestock, equipment, and more, Farm Credit finances it all. Learn more at myaglender.com.
We're one play away from winning at LSU. We're one play away from winning at Missouri. We're one play away from winning at Baylor. So I wouldn't say that we've played bad basketball on the road. I would just say we've been unfortunate in 3 games not to catch a break. And obviously, we need to try to create one more possession on the road than what we had in those 3 games.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
40-year-old adolescents, felons, power drinkers, and trustees of modern chemistry.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Were you going to have a party here tonight, son?
I don't know what that was all about.
Streaming live from
HitThatLine.com.
That seducer and spoiler must be stopped. He's extremely dangerous.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop what you're doing and listen.
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Hour number 2 of the Morning Rush on a Fast Break Friday. Let's talk some football here for a sec. We got a chance to hear from Coach Pittman, Coach Enos, Coach Wilson, and Coach Woodson earlier this week. Want to hear Chuck's thoughts on what they had to say coming up in hour 2.
Fast Break Friday, always brought to you by QC Kinetics. 6 or 8 months ago, I was having some pain in my shoulder. Visited with the team at QC Kinetics, and we went through the entire process of their regenerative medicine using the healing properties from my own body, and they did their magic, if you will, on my left shoulder. And now I don't even think about it again. Sleeping on it, no problem. Golf, no problem. Fishing, no problem. So if you're having trouble, even just mentally getting through joint pain, whether it's in your hip, your back, your shoulders, your knees, wherever it might be, QC Kinetics can help with no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Nobody wants to go through surgery, but a lot of us just don't have time to be down 6 or 8 weeks for rehab and injury and recovery. They can help you with QC Kinetics with none of that. No pain pills long-term either. They got appointments available next week, 479-999-1234, right here in Northwest Arkansas. It's QC Kinetics, 999-1234.
Chuck, we got a chance to hear from 3 new coaches on Wednesday on National Signing Day. What are some of the things that you took away from the new additions?
Well, they're enthusiastic about being here. And I think they're ready to go. You could hear it in their voices. I mean, these guys are wired a little bit differently. They hit the ground running, and it sounds like they've done that.
I think when it comes to Enos, a lot of people already have their opinions, good or bad, of that hire, and then him kind of getting back into the mold of where he was. He's not going to have to figure out his bearings and everything since he's been here before. But for Coach Woodson and Coach Wilson, what does that adjustment period look like for their new job, Chuck?
Well, I don't know. You'd have to ask them about that. I think that, they're no different than any other coaches. I mean, these guys live nomadic lives. I mean, it's not like they don't jump around. So, again, I mean, they'll hit the ground running. It's just like we've seen, with some of these other guys, not just here but at different places that, they start the day working for one school and end the day working for another one, and that's how it goes sometimes. Not in these cases, but my point is these guys are well trained at hitting the ground running, and I don't think there's going to be that much adjustment period.
Now you've hit the dead period, and these guys can put recruiting to a degree to the side. I don't think recruiting never really stops, but you are in the dead period. You got to realize these are guys that put their pants on one leg at a time. They got wives and kids. They got to figure out how they move their family from wherever they've been to here, and you don't just snap a finger. There's not a moving ferry. I wish there was, but you got things like that to deal with. You got 6 weeks or so till spring practice. You got to figure out and evaluate through that process maybe what you need in the portal in May. So, I mean, there's just a lot of things personally and professionally as you get ready for, you think, well, we just got done with football. Well, spring practice is March 9th. I think that's the date, March 9th when it begins. So there's a lot of work done to prepare and plan those practices coming up.
Well, these guys don't work autonomously. So, I mean, I'm sure when Sam Pittman talked to them, there was at some point, here's what we need. Here's what I need. Here's what we have to have. So I think they've got a pretty good idea about, what they are, what's needed from the minute that they walk in the door. They work out that moving stuff. They work that out, and they will. I think right now, you begin to focus, as you say, recruiting never stops. But you got spring practice coming up, and it's an important spring practice. And so I'm sure they are beginning to gear towards that. But there are a lot of things to take in. But these guys are professionals at what they do. They'll be, all that stuff will fall into place.
Yeah, I don't know how much Sam is going to let the media watch practices, but I'll be interested to see. And I think one indicator of what they think is where do they go grab? They got 9 scholarships left. Where do they go grab players at what position groups? And he talked the other day about best players available, but I think there would be some indication on where they focus those last 9 scholarships coming out of spring, where the coaching staff kind of identifies where they need the most help.
I'm sure that's probably true. I don't know how many are going to be out there. It's not like at the end of spring practice it's just going to be fertile ground. Most of the players that are going to be out there probably came to the realization or were told at the end of spring practice this is where you stand, and they didn't like what they hear. And so they decided to go somewhere else. And so I don't know what kind of difference makers, so to speak, are going to be out there at the end of this. And we'll just have to see how the numbers play out.
I think Arkansas got Matt Landers in the late portal period
they got
last
him
year.
At the late.
Yep. So, I mean, you're right in what you're saying, but there may be a few that, hey, I can't be the starter at Georgia or Bama or some elite program. I'm going to be 2 or 3 or 4, whatever. And, hey, that's a difference maker perhaps at certain position groups in Arkansas.
Let's not forget Matt Landers came here from Toledo. I mean, he started at Georgia, and he was looking to move back up. And Arkansas signed some receivers that are looking to move up, so to speak. There may be one of those guys out there, but you've got to have more than one Matt Landers, and you've got to be better, frankly, than Matt Landers if you're going to be at a championship level. And so that's why I say, I mean, maybe you can find a diamond in the rough out there, but most of the guys, maybe you can find someone that wants to move up, but there aren't that many of those guys out there.
Yeah. There's a lot less John Ridgways out there than we like to think. I know that's who Pittman referenced in the press conference earlier this week, but I think that's so hard to find someone, especially on the interior, that, hey, they looked really good in D2 or JUCO or in a lesser conference, and they can do it in the SEC. It's just a different level.
Well, see, here's the thing. When we're talking about Matt Landers, we're talking about John Ridgway. Nobody's going to get fired up at the end saying, hey, we just signed a guy from Illinois State or we just signed a guy from Toledo. I mean, nobody gets fired up about that. You try to find those diamonds in the rough. You try to find guys that are looking to move up, that are looking to prove something. When I look at some of this portal stuff, and we'll have to see 5 years down the road how the numbers all play out. But some of these guys that move from Power 5 to Power 5, I got to question what's going on from the neck up sometimes. These kids that go from Toledo or Illinois State to a Power 5, I get that. They're hungry. They still feel like they've got something to prove. A lot of guys that move from Power 5 to Power 5 just get mad. And something's not right, and so they go somewhere else.
Right.
But I personally like the idea of bringing in players from smaller places that are hungry. I think those are guys you can build with.
Some people think they're all about getting paid, but I don't know if that late in the portal period. That's
for some of them it is. For some of them it is.
I think a lot of them have a misguided self-perception of what their value is in the NIL market, and they get upset and frustrated with where they're at. And then realize, hey, I'm not going to do as good as I was doing where I was at. So
most of them, if you're a starter at the place you leave, you'll be a starter at the place you go. If you're a backup where you leave, you'll be a backup at the next place too, unless you go down.
I don't know how accurate those on-3 NIL assessments are because, like you were saying, they're pretty high.
Yeah. Hey, go to hitthatline.com. We all need some help with Valentine's Day, and we got it for you. If you go to our website, you can register now for our Valentine's getaway to the Arlington Resort Hotel and Spa in downtown Hot Springs. We got everything you need, a great stay with a great room, dinner, couples massage, and more. Plus, we got some great gifts from our sponsors, Richard's Country Meat Market with a $150 gift card, $150 to Cupid's Lingerie, and a 14-karat white gold and ruby pendant from Swift Jewelry. Register, hitthatline.com.
Fast Break Friday on the Morning Rush presented by QC Kinetics. Get real lasting relief from chronic joint pain.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV. Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from the NFL and bowl season to esports. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. We're the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Ed Sheeran used to sing in the church choir, but now bad habits reveal his desire. The old saying goes, sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. God knows you can't overcome. That's why the faith that saves is trusting what Jesus has already done. There's nothing else you can say or use or do. Bad habits lead to doom. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. One call cleans it all. When you stay overnight, you want the accommodations to feel comfortable and feel like home. Well, at Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, you get exactly that. You can check out all their locations at bphotels.com. They have locations in Fayetteville, Bentonville, Little Rock, Jonesboro, Conway, El Dorado, Arkadelphia, North Little Rock, Bryant, Hot Springs, Ardmore, Oklahoma, and coming soon to Kansas City. bphotels.com. Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, looking forward to serving you in 2023.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yeah.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Saw this morning on this day back in 2002 that The New England Patriots beat the greatest show on turf thanks to an Adam Vinatieri 48-yard field goal as time expired. We all know Tom Brady retired officially again earlier this week, and that's been constant on the news cycle. Guys, I want to ask this morning, what is your favorite or least favorite, in some people's cases, Tom Brady memory? To me, it's when he was down 24-14 against the Legion of Boom, and he came back and beat that Seattle Seahawks team. That comeback was unbelievable. He was spectacular in the fourth quarter. What stands out to you?
I'd have to go with the Super Bowl against the Falcons.
Yeah, me too.
Tom Murphy's favorite.
What was it? They down 21-3. I know it started out there, and then it got to 28. Then got to 28-3, and then Edelman that caught the pass to put it to overtime, and then they won. That was the first Super Bowl that went to overtime. Mm-hmm. I'm just kind of going from memory here, but I would say that comeback against the Falcons. I mean, he played on the biggest stage so many times. It's hard to say, well, he did it on the biggest stage. Well, what didn't he do on the biggest stage? But, Chuck, for me, it'd have to be that Atlanta game.
Yeah, I'd go with that one. That would be my pick, too.
Is it weird that I also would put in that almost perfect season in there? And I'm forgetting which catch it was against the Giants, whether it was the David Tyree catch or the Mario Manningham sideline catch that really sealed the deal for the New York Giants. But even though that they didn't do it, the fact that they almost did it in today's National Football League, is that worthy of being discussed?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, to me, the thing about Brady is that, for the average sports fan out there, they're not going to sit there and pick plays and games and all this stuff. They look at the totality. They look at the phenomenon that is Tom Brady. I don't know that you've really got to be an NFL fan or a Patriots fan really to go back. Well, this was his best moment. I think there are certain moments that for everybody they remember, like the Falcons win. I think that's probably what people, if you were going to pick out a moment, that's probably what it would be. But I think Brady's one of those guys that he played so long and had so many great moments that you really can't pick one. And I don't think most people do. I think what makes him, so great is the fact that he just did it over and over and over again.
Yeah. For over 20 years. And it's the fairy tale story, being picked in the late rounds and being the last one off the board at his and then declaring to Robert Kraft, "I'm the best decision you ever made," then backing all of that up. It's the whole package.
Marrying a couple of supermodels didn't hurt either.
That doesn't hurt either. But who amongst us hasn't? Honestly. But you can't tell the story of Tom Brady, and particularly from his detractors, without Deflategate, without Spygate, without all the other things that I think for the people that hate Tom Brady, the Jets fans out there, the Dolphins fans, anyone in the AFC, more or less, that is a fan of one of those teams, their memories are going to be Deflategate, Spygate, all of those kind of things.
Just like a Detroit Pistons fan is going to say Michael Jordan's the most protected player in the history of the game. I mean, professional sports, and it's because it's a business. Professional sports protects their stars, and they cater the game toward their stars.
Yeah.
And these are for-profit businesses, and that's why they do it.
And if you're a Raiders fan, probably the first thing you think of is the Tuck rule, which has an Arkansas connection with Walt Coleman, who was the referee in that game, who's from Little Rock. That would be the kind of the natural state connection on. I don't know if it's the most famous play, obviously, but it's a play that gets talked about, and they did an entire 30 for 30 on it or whatever, an ESPN documentary that came out, I don't know, a year or so ago on the Tuck rule and the Tuck game, if you will.
Because that led up to the first Super Bowl win that they have, and people wonder kind of what that would do if he hadn't won that game and gone on to win that eventual Super Bowl. I think for Brady, you guys mentioned where he was drafted and telling Kraft, guy ran at 5'1" in the 40. You think you could outdo him?
No,
in that?
I couldn't run a 5'1".
You couldn't run a 5'1". I was just like watching
maybe a
him,
5'2".
and he always had. What was amazing to me is he had these big runs in crucial situations, even though that he wasn't the fleetest of foot. Definitely not Patrick Mahomes or Jalen Hurts or Josh Allen or Burrow or some of these guys seen today. But he uses he was so smart when it came to running.
But if
football.
it was 4th and 5, he was going to get you 4th. He was going to get you 5 1/4.
Yep.
I mean, Chuck, he's a competitor. I mean, if he knew where the line to gain was. Yeah.
I mean, he was a willing runner. He was a guy that was going to try to win the game. I mean, that was his whole deal.
JT in Osprey says Walt Coleman hates the Raiders, and that's why he created the tuck rule. Spoken like a real sports fan there.
He created the tuck rule. Wow. Well, there's plenty of Tom Brady memories, and they've definitely been talked about this week.
I wish the news would cover this story a little more. I mean, I've barely seen anything on TV about Tom Brady retiring. It's a good thing we talked about it a couple of mornings ago so the world would know. How many millions? It's got to be maybe 100 million views that video of his is had at this point.
Pop it up real quick.
Dead horse.
God almighty. All right, Red River Dodge in Heber Springs, Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
This hour of Chuck Barrett on the Morning Rush is presented by Baxter Health. Compassionate care beyond measure.
When we talk about SEC basketball right now, I know we did our Pradco Pyramid of Power earlier this week. Guys, when you look at kind of where the coaches and the teams are at right now, we'll just go top to bottom. We're going to either say trending upwards or trending downwards. I think Alabama's pretty easy to say where they're going right now under Nate Oates.
Talking about it in this season or as a program as a whole?
Either or.
I mean, to me, in both questions, both answers would be up. I mean, but to me, there's programs that are trending up and down in the season right now. I think Alabama is about the same as they've been. Yeah, they had the loss at Oklahoma, but then they come back and they beat Vanderbilt by 112. I mean, I'm not concerned at all, Chuck, about Alabama and what trend line they're on in this season.
No, Alabama's going to be probably a 1 or a 2 seed when we get there. And, we'll see how far they go. I think they've got the talent to go all the way. I also think we've seen that they can lay an egg a time or two, but I would say they're trending in the right direction.
Do we trust Alabama, though, to win a national championship? Yes, they're very good. I think they'll win the SEC. But do we trust that program and Nate Oates and all of it to win a national championship?
Well, I mean, let's not act like that is it's national championship or bust. I mean, to me, if you get to the Final Four, you've had in some cases a once in a lifetime season. So, do we trust them to win the national championship? Well, I don't trust anybody to win the national championship, but I think there are 4 or 5 teams that have a chance to win it, maybe a little bit more, and Alabama's one of them.
I'm not saying I'd kill your dog for a Final Four, but I'd do something pretty stinking close to.
Lord,
I'm just being honest. I haven't seen one yet. I was in my mom's stomach, I guess, when they went in '94 and '95. I guess I was around, but that doesn't count. So I just want to see him, Arkansas, at some point do it. Yeah, Bama hadn't gotten past the Sweet 16 the past 2 years, so but this is the best team that Oates has had. So you got to put that in perspective. Miller's a lottery pick. That Clowney kid's unbelievable. Mark Sears is the guy that gets them going, though. He's outstanding. At 26 in Bud Walton Arena, if he continues to play like he has, I would say there's definitely an opportunity for them to be in Houston.
Oh, I think they're a Final Four caliber team. Absolutely.
Arkansas, pretty easy. They're on the up and up. Auburn, I would say, up right now. What about Florida? They get a good win the other night. Todd Golden coming over from San Francisco. San Francisco to Gainesville's a long way. You guys gotten a chance to watch Florida at all this season with Colin Castleton?
Watched them a little bit the other night. They, they're one of those teams that's good enough to beat you at home, obviously, as we saw in the Tennessee game. Castleton's a good player. And they've, I know that we've gone down there a lot of times over the years where I thought we had a better team. We couldn't win down there. So, Florida will be, they'll do what they did the other night. They'll beat some teams at home, and they'll struggle to win on the road, would be my guess.
I'm sure glad that Arkansas plays them in Fayetteville and not in Gainesville. That's on the 18th of the month. So that'll be a good Saturday atmosphere, and yeah, I'm with you. I would not want to play Florida down there. I'd be nervous about that game.
What do y'all think about their former coach Mike White in Georgia this year? I know they lost to Auburn earlier this week. They've had a win or two that I was surprised by, but I mentioned this earlier. I've been surprised that Georgia hasn't been good at basketball with their proximity to Atlanta. And I know they don't care about it, but what do y'all think where they're at right now?
I think that's the deal. They don't care enough about it. That's just as, I don't know how else to put it.
Football school.
So. Kentucky's kind of figured it out a little bit with Cal last few games.
Turning the corner.
You got to play them Tuesday night.
I hope they're still trying to figure it out on Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
But, Kentucky, this idea that there's not going to be very many seasons where Kentucky's just down and it's going to turn. I think there's a lot of similarities in young teams. Now, he he's not quite the same formula as they've been in the past, but he's had slow starts with young teams that's had to learn. I think there's some parallels with what Arkansas's had to do. Young players that's had to grow up a little bit in the season. Arkansas has seen that in the last couple of weeks. I think Kentucky's getting the dividend of that as well, Chuck.
He's not in the midst of, a great run like, he had there at Kentucky for a while. But I think as we look at all the one-and-dones now through NIL and all the things that, as we have seen this year, just on our team, we've seen all the things that come with signing these top-rated classes. It's never smooth. And, Cal did it for a long time, year after year. First off, I think he's an underrated coach. I do think the run's about up there. Now, that doesn't mean that they won't end up in the Final Four this year. I just think for the people in Kentucky, his act's gotten old. And but Cal's a good coach. And, he'll have his team ready.
That game got announced yesterday. It's going to be on ESPN at 8 o'clock, so I know a lot of people are excited about Super Tuesday next week. Got to beat South Carolina first.
That's going to be a 9 o'clock Eastern. We played 2 games on the road that started 9 o'clock.
Chuck's
Eastern
favorite.
Kentucky. Well, no, I'm just saying that that's where we are in terms of television right now. I mean, you've got games starting at 9 o'clock local time.
Yeah. You better have one of them neck pillows on the plane on the way home.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is that? I mean, Lexington's not a short. You won't go to bed till 1 or 2 a.m. that night. And
it'll be later than that.
I was going to say that's the earliest.
Later than that.
Jeez, man, that's I guess the post game. I'm probably drawing the straw for that post game show if I had to guess.
Oh no, probably not.
Okay, all right. Let's see what other teams we got. LSU hadn't been great this year. Ole Miss, Kermit's Davis bout up. Mississippi State, they look good in non-conference, kind of surprised people. Then they've kind of taken a step back. I said this earlier this week. I think Dennis Gates in Missouri and Nate Oates are the 2 candidates for Coach of the Year. I thought Missouri's been a lot better than I initially thought they were going to be.
Well, we got half the season left to go in terms of conference play. I mean, we still got a long way to go. So, right now to talk about end-of-the-season awards for anything is a little bit premature. He's done a good job. Dennis Gates done a good job. There's no doubt about that. And Nate Oates has done a great job too, but we've got a long way to go before we start passing out hardware.
Is this the year for Tennessee that they actually get over the hump and regular season Rick loses that nickname?
Let's see that.
Can they do something this year?
I asked earlier, do you trust Alabama to win a national title? Do you trust Tennessee to make a Final Four? And I think most people, based on that track record, would say no.
I don't know that there's anybody out there this year that I'd look at and say, man, I trust that team to go to the Final Four. That team's going to the Final Four. The only team out there that I've seen that I look at and I say that's a Final Four team is Houston. And they've not been that way every time out. I've watched Purdue a good bit, but, if you're going to say, do you trust them to go to the Final Four? I don't know about that part. You got to get breaks. I mean, things have got to happen your way when you get there. I know Rick Barnes is a Hall of Fame coach. I mean, people can deride what they want, but that guy's a Hall of Fame coach.
You mentioned Purdue. I don't think Matt Painter's ever been to a Final Four. I know Zach Edey and company, they got a really good team this year. He might probably win National Player of the Year, but they always seem to slip up in a game they shouldn't. All right, last 2. A&M, they've been really good. Only 2 conference losses this season. We'll see what happens with Buzz Williams. They're a tournament team. And then Vanderbilt. What have y'all thought about with Jerry Stackhouse? They are in some games that I don't think people traditionally would expect them to be in this year.
First off, I'm not sure A&M's a tournament team. I think they should be, but I'm not sure they are because of the losses that they suffered in December. I can see A&M in a real similar situation to the one that they found themselves in last year, where they're right there. I mean, I don't see bracket. I mean, they're 7-2 in the SEC, and I don't see very many guys that have them in the tournament. And that's because of where they, what they did in non-conference play. So, first off, I don't think A&M's a guarantee. I do think they're good. I think they are worthy of being one of the top 68 teams in the country. I believe they are. But I also know how it, what those, these guys lost. I mean, they lost to Colorado State by 27?
Jeez.
They lost at home to Wofford. I mean, they were still on the outside looking in, and Vanderbilt had an awful night the other night. They just had the misfortune of playing Alabama at home when, Nate Oates has been all over him for about 48 hours, and all they wanted to do was get out on the floor and play so they could get away from him.
How delicious that would be if A&M got left out again. I'd love nothing more for them to be the one seed in the NIT. That would be awesome.
You've got to win non-conference games. I mean, you just do. You can't make the argument, well, look where we are now. Well, losing games in December and November to teams that are, in the triple digits in terms of net, that comes back to bite you. You don't get to just take a mulligan and say, well, we're great in conference. I do think – now, look, again, I think A&M's one of the 68 best teams. But this idea that you're going to expand the NCAA tournament just because Texas A&M can't win in December? I mean, give me a break.
Yeah. All right, so last one. How do we feel about the SEC as a whole coming off of the Big 12 SEC Challenge? Or what was the record, 3-7 for the league?
It's not as good as the Big 12.
Yeah.
It's not as good as the Big 12. That would be my conclusion.
Yeah, when I didn't think that heading into it. I didn't think it would be as bad as 3-7. I know Arkansas had a chance to win that game. Then you had Missouri winning against Iowa State, and then Mississippi State beating against TCU, which
won a couple you didn't expect to win.
And you were lucky in those games.
And you lost one or two. You thought you might win.
Didn't think Auburn would lose.
The Big 12 is the best conference in the country, and the SEC is probably with the ACC and the Big 10.
I think it's better than the ACC. I think the ACC's down. I think that all of them have cases to make. All of them have teams that are good enough to get to the Final Four.
All you have to do is look on Saturday in the Duke, North Carolina game where neither team is ranked. I mean, if you don't have the Tar Heels and the Blue Devils ranked, the ACC is down.
Two Hall of Fame coaches no longer there, and you're seeing the dividend.
Hey, where was Duke's recruiting class?
Number 1 in the country.
And they're not even in the top 25. So everybody should begin to understand that just because you got a bunch of guys that the NBA projects as being stars one day, that doesn't mean you got a great college team.
That's true, and
damn right it's true.
But there is an asterisk to that. They did change coaches. That's the only difference between Arkansas and Duke. Muscle's still here. They went from
but my
K to
point
Shire.
is, you're nitpicking there. My point is that number 1 and number 2 and number 3 and 4 and 5 recruiting classes, that's no guarantee. It's no guarantee.
Nope. And we've seen, like I said, going back to Kentucky, we've seen that for a number of years. Slow starts, Kentucky teams with top talent not even make the tournament.
Well, I mean, hey, what's going to happen in February is going to set up what happens in March. And I like where Arkansas is right now, and I guess we'll just find out. I do know this, that if you're in North Central Arkansas, Baxter Health's your new home for compassionate care beyond measure. And they're proud to announce that Dr. Scott Ferguson has joined the Baxter Health family, and he's going to begin to see patients at the new Baxter Health Urology Clinic in Harrison. Now, if you're in Harrison, you know about Dr. Ferguson. He's been there a long time, and he's going to be taking new patients at his location at 715 West Sherman Avenue in Harrison. Now, you can call him at 870-741-2317, and you can schedule an appointment. And the Baxter Health Urology Clinic in Harrison is now hiring nursing staff with sign-on bonuses available. If you're an experienced LPN, you can join their team of quality care providers. You can visit workwhereyouvacation.com, and they'll have an application there for you to fill out.
Let's talk to Charlie, who's in Camden this morning. What's up, Charlie?
Good morning, guys.
Morning.
As I finally decided I'm going to have to take somebody else's truck since I'm stuck in the yard this morning. I was actually doing that while I was on hold there, so kind of figured out I wasn't going to make it in my truck unless I somehow gathered Goliath strength and was able to push it out of the mud. So, anyways, how you guys doing?
Better than you, apparently.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just the way it goes sometimes. But I do want to say this about Duke and UNC. You're right, they are down this year a little bit, but they still got a shot now. They get in there, and it's like Chuck said, I don't think there's any clear-cut number 1 team that you could just be like, yeah, man, that team right there is going to the Final Four. They're going to win it all. I think when you get into that tournament, and whoever gets in there, they got a shot. So I think Arkansas has a shot. Anybody has a shot. If you get in there and you got a matchup that favors you or whatever, If you don't play well, you're going to get beat. I mean, we've seen it. So, as far as Tennessee goes, think they got a shot to make a run too. But we'll see. You know, like you always say, the tournament. I do want to talk about tomorrow a little bit. Do you guys consider tomorrow a must-win from the standpoint of, because we know what's about to come up on the schedule for Arkansas? I do, in that sense, not because I don't. Now, is it a must-win if they lost? Is the season over? No. But I think it's a must-win from the standpoint, you know, what you got coming up here. It's fixing to be a tough road, so I think they need to win tomorrow for sure to get some confidence, and that's just my take, guys. Anyways, I'll hang up and listen. Y'all have a great day.
Charlie, appreciate it. There's no doubt about they've got a tough road ahead. You still got to go to College Station, to Knoxville, to Tuscaloosa, to Lexington. You got to host the Cats. I mean, that's 5 of your remaining 9 games. Now, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, and I'm forgetting the other team that they got on the schedule. Those are winnable games, but yeah, I hate using the must-win, but they need to win this game tomorrow.
It's a can't lose.
No doubt.
Not a must-win. It's a can't lose.
Well, it's one of those situations where if you don't win the game tomorrow, all the good stuff that's happened the last couple of weeks is wiped away in a lot of people's minds. So you're making progress right now. The last couple of weeks have been good to you. And, you're beginning to come together as a team. So this is a game you need to go win.
What was it you were saying about A&M a few minutes ago? You lost to Wofford. You lost to This would be that damning of a loss on your resume that it might put you back outside, the tournament field. I mean, this is a team that's 283 this morning in the net ranking.
Let me tell you about the Wofford Terriers. I have never been more nervous about a basketball game in my entire life than 2015 as I'm driving to Jacksonville, Florida, anticipating that Arkansas is going to win that game, listening to Chuck, and I guess it would have been Scotty at the time, call that game. Because I would have drove all the way to Jacksonville for nothing, just out of the blue. But that was a game they squeaked out at the end. And Charlie's point about North Carolina, I think, was a 7 or 8 seed last year. They caught hot at the end, made the national championship game. Hubert Davis and company turned it around. I don't know if that can be Arkansas this year, but it's a matchup situation. And Arkansas's got some fortunate matchups these last 2 years. There have been higher-seeded teams that have lost those NCAA tournament games before Arkansas got to the Elite Eight. You just hope that same thing kind of happens this year.
All right, our Fence Man Friday picks are coming up. It's Fast Break Friday. It's always brought to you by QC Kinetics. Everyone's talking about regenerative medicine right now because people who have joint pain are getting real, lasting relief without drugs or surgery, and they're now here in Northwest Arkansas. 479-999-1234. You got back, shoulder, hip, joint pain anywhere in your body, and your doctor said it's going to take surgery or long-term pain medication to heal your pain, then you need to talk to my friends at QC Kinetics. Don't put this off any longer. Spring's just around the corner. QC Kinetics is ready for you right now. 479-999-1234. One of the reasons I had to get my shoulder repaired is I love to fish. And, the joint pain had become a problem, and QC Kinetics fixed that. Next week, I'm planning a trip. I'm going out to Gaston's. It is prime time on the White River, and Gaston's is the only place you think about staying because they got a great restaurant overlooking the White River, cozy cabins that are each and every one of them are private lodging, private cabins, and right now it's winter rates, so I'm going to save some money by staying 2 or more nights at Gaston's. You can do the same thing. Call 870-431-5202. And Cheryl or Jacob or any of the crew will get your trip put together with one of their expert guides, and February is the best time. 870-431-5202. Gaston's, a first-class time every time.
You're in the middle of Fast Break Friday on the Morning Rush presented by QC Kinetics. Get real lasting relief from chronic joint pain.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
WT Equipment is your home for New Holland ag and construction equipment, sales, parts, and service. For high horsepower row crop tractors and combines, utility utility tractors and hay equipment, compact track loaders, and mini excavators. WT Equipment has it all. Stop by one of their 8 locations to explore the value of New Holland tractors and see why New Holland hay equipment and twin rotor combines are second to none in harvesting ability. Need to upgrade your construction equipment fleet? Give WT Equipment a call. Come by a store or check out their website, WTEquip.com.
When you need a plumber, call the name you know and trust. Ashley Air. The same great people that take care of your heating and cooling system can also meet your plumbing needs. Right now, take $50 off any plumbing repair or get a $129 drain cleaning plus a 2-year parts and labor warranty. Restrictions apply. If you have clogged drains, Ashley Air is the one to call. Go to AshleyAir.com to schedule your plumbing service. That's AshleyAir.com. Proud sponsors of Razorback Athletics.
It's a new year. Why not put a new-to-you vehicle in your driveway? Road Chevrolet wants to buy your vehicle today, and that means you can get out of your old ride and into a great car, truck, or SUV from Road Chevrolet. In fact, trucks starting at only $14,482. Yeah, trucks starting at $14,482. Find new roads. Road Chevrolet, just off I-540 exit 2A Van Buren. Prices you'll love, people you can trust.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
Make today more interesting with Betley's online sports betting action. You can bet on pro and college games with Betley, the only online sports book in Arkansas and Tennessee. And right now, every new customer can cash in on a $250 risk-free first bet. Download the Betley Sportsbook app now in the Apple and Google Play Store or visit Betley.com. With Betley, every game matters.
Must be 21 or older and located in Arkansas or Tennessee to bet. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Needing your roof repaired? Ramos Roofing is a local company that has over 25 years of experience, specializing in your residential or commercial roofing needs in the Oklahoma area. Ramos Roofing, a company you can trust, offering discounts to senior citizens, law enforcement, or healthcare workers, and assists in your insurance claims. Ramos Roofing, standing behind their work so you can stand under it. Call 479-420-9903. That's 420-9903. Ramos Roofing, working with you to build a better home.
At Frank Rowe Furniture, spring is on the way, and Frank Rowe Furniture is ready. We have new arrivals on Made in the USA furniture at unbelievable prices. We have two-piece sectionals starting at $13.49, recliners as low as $3.99, sofa and love starting at $13.99. Frank Rowe Furniture offers in-store no-credit check financing with the manager approval or a SEMA financing or SNAP financing. Frank Rowe Furniture, 405 4th Street, Barling, Arkansas. Best seats in the house.
Have a loan with a variable to balloon rate? That might be a problem if it's due to reprice soon. Let Farm Credit fix your problem with a long-term fixed interest rate loan. Farm Credit's terms are the longest in the ag industry, ensuring you'll have peace of mind for years to come. At Farm Credit, you have nothing to lose. When rates begin to drop, you can easily readjust your rate again with no refinancing application, no new appraisals, no new title work. We make it simple. Find a Farm Credit office near you at myaglender.com. Equal housing lender.
Hi, this is Ricky Smith, head basketball coach for the Northside Lady Bears. I dial 782-8940. That's 782-8940.
This is Northside head basketball coach Eric Burnett. I call 782-8940. That's 782-8940.
Take advantage of York Factory rebates on high-efficiency HVAC products.
782-8940.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Arkansas football. It's the players running through the A. Hog hats,
It's more than 70,000 fans calling Woo Pig Suey.
Yes, sir.
Guys, I've got just one thing I want to say to you. Touchdown, Arkansas!
Arkansas wins the national championship! The Arkansas Razorbacks have completed the dream season!
This is your Hog Update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Mr. Sparky. Need a licensed electrician to service your home? For one of their local pros, call 888-8-SPARKY.
Let's get into our Hog Update this morning. Arkansas and South Carolina, 2:30 tomorrow on the SEC Network, right here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. We'll have the Gimme the Hogs Chuck podcast at 1:30, and then Chuck and Z will be courtside in Columbia. And then for the first time, DQ and I will be doing Hog Reaction after. I know she's excited about that, Tommy. She can't wait.
It's just working with you that's got her so excited.
I don't think that's the reason. I think she's dreading that aspect, but I think she is still excited to do that. Well, Chuck, I'm excited to see what this team can do tomorrow. Again, 0-5 on the road this season. This could be the first start of hopefully something they can do a lot better on the road the rest of the way.
Talked a little bit earlier, and I think you played the clip, and it's not like Arkansas has gone on the road and just gotten drilled. Mm-hmm. It's not like that's happened. They've been close games, 2 or 3 possession-type games, and I don't think they're done on the road by any stretch. Yeah. And I don't, I like their chances in some of their road games beyond this one too, but there's no doubt the schedule, once you get past this one, you got some real ball games coming up. You got some real, it's a real ball game Saturday, but after that it certainly gets tougher.
Talking a little baseball here this morning on your Hog Update. Jared Wegner, the transfer from Creighton, has been named a preseason All-American by the National Collegiate Baseball Writers Association. You've had several guys, Hagen Smith, Brady Tydard, Wegner, and then also Peyton Stovall have been preseason All-SEC and All-American guys. And the Razorbacks, like they do in seemingly every other poll, are now top 10 in the USA Today's preseason top 25. They're checking at number 6. Guys, this is just not even news to me at this point because I feel like Dave Van Horn Squad and company are there preseason every year.
We're pretty spoiled, that's for sure, when it comes to baseball. You ripped off the names of a lot of really good players there. And if they can all have good years and be playing well together at the same time, this team's got a chance to win a lot of games. Baseball is a streaky game. And as we've seen, we talk about team sports, and baseball's different sometimes. Baseball's different all the time than football and basketball, but you've still got to have that. You've still got to have a bunch of guys playing well at the right time, hitting well, pitching well, and you've got to do all the little things right. But they tend to do those things, and so that's why I think everybody this time of year is talking about how we're 2 weeks from baseball now. Yeah. 2 weeks, is that right?
Yeah, and since it's early, if you could go ahead and get me 4 for the Tennessee series behind
home plate, Chuck Barrett box, we'll take a seat in there.
I'd appreciate it.
Right behind the dish.
Yeah, exactly.
About 5 rows up. I'll get you.
If you don't mind. So
no worries.
I'll slum it in the hog pen if I have to. Can't wait for that series. All right, that's going to do it for your Hog Update. It is brought to you by Mr. Sparky.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
All right, it's time to get into our Fenceman Friday picks. Only one top 25 matchup this weekend in the Southeastern Conference in Knoxville, Auburn at Tennessee. Let's talk a couple SEC basketball games on Fenceman Friday.
Fenceman Friday Picks. Call the Fenceman for all kinds of fences, controlled access, and custom iron projects. 479-782-3936. The Fenceman. We ain't afraid of no work.
So we welcome in our buddy Sean in this morning. Sean, how are we doing on a Friday? Start of February.
What's the saying? If I was any better, you'd have to split me and make me into twins.
There you go.
That's pretty good.
The devilish duo.
That'll work. That'll work. All right, let's get into some SEC action, starting with that top 25 matchup. I mentioned Auburn traveling to Knoxville to Thompson Bowling Arena. Tennessee, a 6-point favorite in this one. Guys, what do we think happens between the Vols and the Tigers tomorrow? Tommy, you can start.
Tennessee's at home, right?
Yes.
I'll take the home team.
What do you think, Chuck?
Tennessee's going to win. It's these spreads that are hard. I'll take Tennessee to cover.
What do you think, Sean? Tennessee losing earlier this week to Florida. They bounced back in a big way on Saturday.
On everybody's boat. We're all going to be rolling down going to Tennessee and going down the Ocoee River.
The fact that they lost earlier this week's what, they may get some of that Alabama action on this game.
Tommy's right on. I'm going to stay on with everyone else because they lost to Florida in the manner they did. Worst game they probably played all season. I'm going to take Tennessee covering the 6-point spread. Alabama going to Baton Rouge, who I don't think LSU's won a game since they beat Arkansas earlier in conference play. The visiting Crimson Tide, Tommy, are 13-point favorites on the road. Do they cover a 13-point spread?
Chuck said something very profound earlier. Bad teams that are struggling, will play their best games at home on a Saturday in February.
3 o'clock, 2 in the afternoon.
Give me LSU and the points. Alabama wins the game, but LSU and 13's too much.
What are we thinking, Chuck?
I'm going to go LSU and the points.
I also think the fact that LSU is getting that opportunity to play in the afternoon, and Bama just played their best game of the season offensively and defensively. I don't think they followed up like that. I'll go LSU. What do we think, Sean?
I want a point. I'm going to go opposite all.
Attaboy.
I like it.
I won't argue with Sean on that one either. It may be wishful thinking on our parts.
I like it. Florida going to Lexington after their biggest win of the season, taking on Cal and company. And that's a 7:30 game on ESPN. Tommy, Kentucky is a 5-point favorite at home.
I'll take Kentucky.
Sean, what do we think? We taking the Cats or we taking the Gators?
I'm going to take the Cats.
I'm going to go Cats as well. Chuck, you want to go Island or you want to jump on board with us?
I'll take Kentucky.
Yeah, I think that team's playing really good right now. Hopefully they won't play good.
We want Kentucky to win.
For Tuesday night?
We don't want Kentucky to get beat Saturday.
Great
point. Go in there Tuesday night.
Exactly right.
The Razorbacks are a visiting favorite. They're an 8-point favorite walking into South Carolina on Saturday. Guys, do they win this game by 9 points or more? Or does South Carolina cover, Tommy?
It's like Chuck said. I think Arkansas wins the game. These spreads are what mess you up. Arkansas wins the game, but you said 8 or 8.5. What'd you say?
8.
South Carolina in the points. Arkansas.
Tommy's hedging. Tommy's hedging his bets.
What do we think, Sean?
Well, I saw them on TV. Did they win the other night?
South Carolina did not win earlier this week. No,
they did not. Okay. I think Arkansas will make the spread. I'm taking Arkansas.
I'm going to take the Razorbacks as well. Chuck, I'm going to give you Missouri at Mississippi State. The visiting Tigers are 4-point favorites. Do they cover on the road in Starkville tomorrow?
I'm going to take Mississippi State.
They need a win bad. They've had some close games. They barely lost to Alabama last week, but we'll see if they can do it at home. That'd be a big win for, I guess it's the former Vermont coach, maybe. I can't think of the guy's name off the top of my head.
New Mexico State.
New Mexico, Christians.
Yeah, we played him.
Yeah,
we played him. He's a good coach.
Yeah. All right, that's your Fence Man Friday picks, always brought to you by the Fence Man, 782-3936. That's the number to call my buddy Sean. And custom fence projects, you love them.
Yes, we do love custom fence projects. But I'm just, be honest with you folks, our spring season's fixing to kick off. Our phones are ringing. Our calendar's getting full. So if you're looking for a new fence, repair fence, gate access, give us a call, get that free quote, get us out there pretty quick so you can get on the list because, once we get rolling, it's going to be, it's kind of like, if you want the best restaurant, you got to wait a while. And same for us. We're one of the, I'm not trying to brag too much, but we are one of the best in the River Valley, and it'll be a minute to get us to come to your fence if you don't get in line quick.
He's not lying. 782-3936. We trust him. You should as well. That's the Fence Man, 782-3936. Sean, good to see you. We'll see you next Friday.
Thank you, folks.
Hour 3 coming up, Fast Break Friday. Let's talk about Anthony Black a little bit and the impact he's had as a true freshman.
Bobby Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936. Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
While most of us are familiar with the opioid epidemic, we forget about the threat we faced for decades, methamphetamine. Meth is our biggest drug threat, and the number of people dying each year continues to grow. It's destroying our communities. You know, you've seen it. It might not have been your kid or your parent, but it was someone you know. To find ways to help, go to meovermeth.org. Choose your community. Choose your family. Choose yourself. I choose me over meth.
This message is sponsored by the North Arkansas Partnership for Health Education and the Me Over Meth grant.
When you need a plumber, call the name you know and trust, Ashley Air. The same great people that take care of your heating and cooling system can also meet your plumbing needs. Right now, take $50 off any plumbing repair or get a $129 drain cleaning plus a 2-year parts and labor warranty. Restrictions apply. If you have clogged drains, Ashley Air is the one to call. Go to ashley.air.com to schedule your plumbing service. That's ashley.air.com. Proud sponsors of Razorback Athletics.
Don't you just hate that? Sitting in a tire store waiting room while your car's being serviced? That's the last place you need to be with work and kids and the 10 million things you need to be doing. Well, don't. Free shuttle service. Pickup and delivery free when you spend $75 and only $10 if less. Jody'sAuto.com will make your life easier. Hi, Kim Bircher. 3 locations, 1 in Van Buren and 2 in Fort Smith. One stop. We do everything. So you don't have to go from place to place for tires or service or repairs or maintenance. We are local. 37 years and voted best of the best time and time again. We will pick up and deliver or shuttle you so you don't have to waste your time. Honesty and customer service is always our number one goal. We will make your life much easier at Jody'sAuto.com. JODYS Auto.com.
Clogs? Nobody wants a clog. Westart Plumbing knows that clogs are a serious issue. They can signal that bigger problems are on the way. So contact Westart Plumbing while the problem is small. Slow shower and sink drains, gurgling toilets, and outside cleanouts making a mess? Call 479-646-5151 today. Westart Plumbing and expert drain cleaning since 1993. They keep you flowing. If you have slow drains or high water bills, call Westart Plumbing and expert drain cleaning service. 646-5151.
And we're back with breaking news. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any Coke fan, so make sure you... Jim. Jim. We're on the air.
Ooh, yes, this tastes like the best Coke ever to me. Your thoughts, Jen?
Well, can I have a sip?
Jen, we're in the middle of reporting the news.
I need to try it first.
Papa's Pub and Pizzeria is the #1 place to watch every Arkansas basketball game this season. The Hogzilla Specialty Pizza is only $16.99. The Hogzilla Specialty Pizza is made with pulled pork from Newmeyer's Rib Room, sausage, Canadian bacon, pepperoni, crispy bacon, and cheese. Dusted with Newmeyer's Rib Rub. Hop on the Must Bus for every Arkansas basketball game at Papa's. 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
Happy New Year, everyone. Hi, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, the home of inflation elimination. That's right, we've had enough. Thanks to our live market value pricing, our prices are dropping and our customers are saving now. And you can too on a great selection of Rath road-ready vehicles, the best used cars you can buy. Plus, our non-commissioned solution specialists are there for you. Let them worry about making all the numbers work. It's what they're paid to do. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in our Meineke Car Care Center with half-off brakes and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. For even more savings and protection, ask about our new Meineke Miles service contracts and prepaid maintenance products. They'll help you keep your car in tip-top shape while saving you money. So if you're like us and you want 23 to be the best year ever and you're ready for some inflation elimination, start today by driving better in a nicer, newer car from Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online, rathauto.com.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, a big improvement in the weather. We're looking at sunshine from start to finish. Our high this afternoon, upper 30s to low 40s. Clear and cold tonight. Overnight low will drop down in the mid to upper 20s. We're going to be even warmer on Saturday with our high in the upper 40s. Sunday on our way to the upper 50s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
When you look at Arkansas, you say hearts, guts, defense, and it comes from the guy on top.
ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com. KERX, Paris Fort Smith.
Hey, we can't make you a morning person, but we can make your mornings.
ESPN 95.3.
We're one play away from winning at LSU. We're one play away from winning at Missouri. We're one play away from winning at Baylor. So I wouldn't say that we've played bad basketball on the road. I would just say we've been unfortunate in 3 games not to catch a break. And obviously, we need to try to create one more possession on the road than what we had in those 3 games.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
40-year-old adolescents, felons, power drinkers, and trustees of modern chemistry.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Were you going to have a party here tonight, son? I don't know what that was all about.
Streaming live from hitthatline.com.
That seducer and spoiler must be stopped. He's extremely dangerous.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop what you're doing and listen.
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Yes,
It was a big deal in the offseason when not 1, not 2, but 3 McDonald's All-Americans committed to the University of Arkansas. You had the second best recruiting class in the country. Anthony Black, AB, was the final one on that list to commit. And he's been the guy, really the linchpin, the guy that's been the point guard, primary ball handler, and he's been gutting it out lately. Musk was very complimentary of his starting point guard yesterday. I want to talk about that coming up in Hour 3.
It's Fast Break Friday. It's brought to you by QC Kinetics. If you'll allow me a minute, I want to tell you about my personal experience with QC Kinetics. It got started when I had some shoulder pain on my left side, made sleeping on my left side just a little more difficult. Golf became a little more challenging, fishing, just the things I loved and enjoyed. And I visited with the staff at QC Kinetics, and they showed me a way that they could fix my shoulder pain with no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. I'd watched some coworkers go through shoulder reconstruction surgery. It was weeks and weeks of rehab. I didn't want to do that. Didn't have the time to do that. So live with the pain or find another way. And QC Kinetics helped me find another way. If you've got something similar going on with a knee, back, hip, any joint pain, arthritis that's just unbearable, QC Kinetics can show you regenerative medicine in ways that they can use the healing properties from your own body to make you feel better and to eliminate that pain. There's open appointments available next week, 479-999-1234. Don't put it off any longer. Spring's just around the corner, and you want to enjoy all that life has to offer. 479-999-1234 for QC Kinetics.
There's going to be a lot of scouts in the building tomorrow to watch Gigi Jackson and Anthony Black, among other players. I know Ricky Council has risen the weight he's played, but guys, this is a connection that these guys shared with Team USA, and I know that both of them, like Anthony Black and Keontae, they're itching to compete tomorrow.
I'm sure they are, and these are fun games for them when they play players that, they've shared honors with, I guess, in their previous basketball lives. But, these guys like playing. I mean, you can tell when Anthony Black's out there, he loves playing basketball. I mean, he just loves it. And I've not watched Gigi Jackson as much, but I'm sure that he loves it too. And sounds like both these guys have, really bright futures and are going to have a chance to play a long time.
Yeah, and I think they're, like you said, when you know somebody, you've got history with them, I think it just juices you up a little bit more. I want to beat this guy. I don't care what it is. I mean, you just want to beat him because it might be your last chance for a long time. So you don't get very many opportunities in games like this. So I think it's neat to watch how these things unfold sometimes.
You do have great players, and if you sign great players and you're playing, in our league, you're going to play players like that. There's somebody on all the good teams, and in this case, a team that's not won as many games. There's always somebody out there that, they're talking about being the next big thing, and I'm sure these guys do. When they have a history like that, enjoy playing each other, just like guys that may not be McDonald's All-Americans, but played together, played against one another. For example, I'm sure the game the other night when Council and Dexter Dennis were matched up against one another. They'd been teammates at Wichita State. I'm sure it meant a little more to them too.
These teams are the worst in the conference in turning the ball over, and I know that's been Arkansas's Achilles heel on the road at times. Free throws has also been a big factor. Is that going to play a huge role in tomorrow's game based on what it has in conference thus far?
Hope not.
Well, the track record would tell you that turnovers are going to be a factor, yes. I mean, the track record for South Carolina says, turnovers have been an issue. There have been games Arkansas has played. You've looked at and said, turnovers have been an issue. So I think it's fair to say that good or bad, when we look at the turnovers at the end of the game, there's a good chance that'll tell the story.
Yeah. Hopefully at least one team, and to be the Razorbacks are better in that category. If not, it could be an ugly game. The last thing, Chuck, you want to see is like 30 combined turnovers. It's just a bad basketball game.
No, I mean, hopefully we won't see that. South Carolina's had trouble scoring. Their average point differential per game's about -10. But that doesn't mean that they won't have a great day. And, everybody out there's got a big day in them. And, if a guy like G.G. Jackson, say, and, if a guy like that, Arkansas has done a really good job at shutting down the other team's best player. But, a guy like that, if he goes off, I mean, he can carry you. He can carry you for a Saturday, carry you for 40 minutes. And that's why it's so important that you do shut down their best player, or at least, make him not as good as he's been. But this is a great player. And, again, they've got scholarship players. They brought in a guy from Murray State that's pretty good. They brought in a guy from Ohio State that's pretty good. They've got a player that 6'5" forward named Hayden Brown that came in from, I think, the Citadel. He's a good player. So, they've got some guys that are capable of having big days.
I know that Devo Davis guarded Brandon Miller, all 6'9" of them earlier this season. It's not going to be 100% set in stone, but I wouldn't be surprised to even know that Gigi's bigger than him if he initially gets that first assignment. I don't know what the over-under, Tommy, on the Bet Saracen app is for Gigi's points, but if Devo's guarding them, I would take the under the way he's played defense this year.
He's played well, and particularly in the last couple of weeks. So, I mean,
well, we'll have to see how they draw their assignments there. I would have a difficult time believing that 6'4" guards 6'9" for very long. I'm not saying Devo's not a great defensive player, but I would not think they would do that all day.
Gigi's a little thicker than Brandon Miller. Brandon Miller's pretty. I mean, he's still growing into himself. He's still got to put on some NBA weight before he gets to the next level. But regardless of what happens, Devo's got to have an impact tomorrow like he has the last couple games. And I think when it comes to this basketball team, Tommy, you mentioned the three-point shooting. They ended up, what were they, 33% on Tuesday night, if I remember that right. It's been a night and day difference. And it's not like they're taking 25 threes a game by any stretch, but they're just shooting the ball way better than when they were, no joke, like 333rd of 363 teams in college basketball.
You're right about the percentage, but to me it's the number they made. They made 6. They were 6 of 18. So, I've maintained my opinion that, you need to be in that 6, 7, 8 category to win to win these tight ball games. I don't know how tight this game will or won't be, but to me, Arkansas's percentage goes up when you get in that 6, 7, 8. You had 4 in that game against Baylor. You lost the game, but, I think it's important that Arkansas finds a way to knock down 6, 7, 8 of those things. That means they're probably shooting the ball better from everywhere on the floor.
6 of 18 will win you a lot of games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it really will, particularly for this team. If they could shoot 6 of 18 the rest of the way, I could live with that. I mean, it'd be nice maybe if you have a spree. But here's the thing. I think shot selection has a lot to do with this as well. I think that's got a lot to do with it. You look at some of the threes that are being taken now as opposed to where some of the three-pointers were put up from before. Just look at an old-fashioned shot chart, and you'll see a lot of misses in different spots from where you see a lot of the makes now. And a lot of the three-point shooting, I mean, it's got to come within the framework of the offense. It really does. And I think I think that's a big part of it as well. I think their shot selection's improved a lot.
I haven't watched a ton of South Carolina this year. I watched the Kentucky-South Carolina game in its entirety, and I've watched bits and pieces here and there. Are they going to zone Arkansas tomorrow? Are they going to be you mentioned, is it Lamont Paris, Chuck, That's the guy's name, coach's name. Do you expect them to zone Arkansas at points during the game tomorrow?
I would expect them to some. I don't know how much. But yeah, I mean, I would expect them to some.
What have you guys noticed about how Arkansas attacks the zone relative to attack the man? I've noticed that they don't pass the ball as quick as they need to initially, and at times they'll take a wild three-pointer. So if you're talking about shot selection, I was watching Virginia get Syracuse the other night. Ball's moving consistently, fast, quick passes. I feel like at times they take 5 or 10 seconds to kind of figure out what they're going to do to dissect the zone. They don't actually get into it quick enough.
I think there are times they've attacked it well, and there are times that they haven't. It's a lot of it is, the matchup that's on the floor right then when the other team goes to the zone. But I think for the most part, Arkansas's offense against the zone's been good enough. I mean, is it perfect? No, but I think it's, they'll face more zone as they go, but I think they'll be able to, they're much better at breaking it down, I'll put it that way, than they were early in the year.
I think they've gotten better in the last 3-4 weeks in those passes, and I agree with what you're saying that, Devo and AB maybe just kind of sharing, low leverage passes near the top of the key that, they're out top of the zone, and then next thing you know, the shot clock's at 10, and we better do something. But I think they've done better of the skip passes, finding Devo open on the elbow, even the passes to the low block when you get the ball to the high post and it opens up and the defender doubles down and it leaves someone open underneath. They're making good, clean passes to get those chip shots around the rim. So I think they've done what they need to do. Used one pass to open up someone else for either an open shot or a quick look underneath the basket. And I think that's what they're getting better at, is getting the zone defense off kilter, off balance to open somebody up when they bite on a double team.
I used to think that Devo was the best mid-range shooter on this team. It wasn't even close, but Ricky's kind of shown that crossover pull-up he has, the elbow and the middle kind of at the free throw line. That's his thing. So when what Devo's done with the three-point shot is he's opened it up and he's proven that he can be on the wing and not just in the middle. So when they have Ricky in that kind of high post area, and then you have one of the Mitchell brothers or Graham cutting baseline, that creates problems for the opposing team when you're trying that 2-3 or 3-2, whatever, 1-3-1.
Yeah. To me, the next thing you got to figure out against this zone is how to draw more contact, how to get to the free throw line a little more consistent. I mean, inherently when you're playing zone, the other team's going to be called for fewer fouls. That's how it is, because they're not as handsy. They're not right up on you. You got to figure out a way, I think, guys, to get more contact going to the rim, figure out how to get more free throw attempts, because at times that's been a problem, particularly in losses where Arkansas is not getting to the free throw line enough.
Well, and that comes from breaking down the zone as opposed to shooting over it. And you look when other teams are playing man. I mean, Baylor did this a time or two. I mean, when they begin to set up, it almost looks like they're in a zone. But they're sagging, so much in their man, and some other guys will do that. I'm not going to get into coach speak too much because that's not what I do. But I do know that when this team is at its best against the zone, they're not shooting over them. They're breaking them down. They're getting to the rim, as you say. They're getting to the foul line, and that's how you beat a zone.
Confidence is a word that y'all both mentioned earlier, and this team, again, 0-5 on the road. They've showed confidence at home. It's not like they've gotten blown out on the road. One possession lost to LSU, one possession lost to Mizzou, one possession lost to Baylor. But for them to get a win tomorrow would be big, even though against a lesser opponent, at least from conference standards. I also think for some of the guys that have not been successful shooting on the road, I don't know if Muss is going to stick to the 7 guys he played on Tuesday or if that was just a unique matchup situation. But if Joseph Pinion, if they do zone, and some teams are going to zone Arkansas, he's shown the ability to shoot at home. He hasn't yet shown the capability consistently to shoot on the road as a young freshman. If he was able to knock down some open looks tomorrow, that would be big for him individually as well.
Well, yeah. I mean, sure it would. That would be big for him individually, and it'd be big for the team. They, Pinion's shooting percentage from beyond the arc's about like everybody else's, maybe a little bit higher, but not much. I mean, he's not 40% or anything like that. So, I mean, they've again, if if you're going to get 3-pointers against the zone, you better have broken it down first, because that's how you're going to get good 3-pointers against the zone. If you're just out there, as you say, passing it around till the shot clock hits 5 and somebody jacks one up, you're not going to shoot a very good percentage. But if you've broken it down and the zone as a whole's not giving you problems, then that's when you get the open looks.
Yeah, and but hopefully you get that open look underneath the basket. And that's what ultimately you'd like to do, is have one of the Mitchells or one of your big guys down low wide open because someone doubled down high on the high post or moved out to the wing and made a mistake. That's what you're ultimately trying to do, is get the defense to make a mistake.
Well, there's only, when you really talk about the upper echelon of college basketball, there's maybe 3 or 4 teams out there. It doesn't matter if you play zone or man, they're going to score on you. But zone gives lots of people problems. I mean, it's these kids don't grow up playing zone. I mean, they basketball, for better or worse. It's about taking the other guy. And so zone tends to give a lot of teams trouble.
Yeah, and let's not pretend, Arkansas's used to seeing the zone now at this point. They see it probably, what would you say, 2/3 to 3/4 of the half-court possessions? That's what they've probably seen. I don't know what the number would be. More than half, but not completely. There's still some man played on them. But most teams play man and not zone with the primary amount of their defense. So when you play Arkansas, then you try to shift to a zone. Let's not act like there's not a risk for whoever the opponent is. They're going to have defensive issues because, Chuck, it's not what they're comfortable doing.
Well, they're still facing, I would say, less than half the possessions they're facing zone. It's we notice, and there have been some points in games where teams have gone to zone, and it's really, it's really helped. But they're still going to face. It's still going to be primarily man. Zone, there aren't many teams out there that just play exclusively zone and are good. I mean, Boeheim did it for a while, but most of the teams are still going to play, for the most part, man-to-man defense. Hey, if you're in the market to buy or sell a home, let me talk to those of you who are thinking about that, or maybe those of you who are moving into the process as we speak. Let me recommend Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, to you. What you're going to find is these are complete and total real estate professionals. This is all they do. This is not a side gig. This is something that they do and they study and they're trained for each and every day. When it came time for me to buy and sell, that's who I went with. And it's because of that. Because, as much as I might like to think otherwise, I don't know that much about the real estate game. And you need somebody on your side of the table that does, because that helps them understand the market in a way you can't. It helps them negotiate a price in a way you can't. And ultimately, it does help you get from contract to close. It gets you from contract to close. And that's the bottom line when you're involved in a real estate transaction. Now, they've got an office in Fayetteville. They're in Springdale. They're in Bentonville. Office in Fort Smith. They've recently opened an office in Branson, Missouri. And you can always log on to WeichertGriffin.com.
It's National Wear Red Day in the great state of Arkansas and across the United States. Guys, I know, Chuck, you're a sleek dresser. Tommy, you've got some good Razorback apparel as well. What is your number one Razorback red piece of item?
Oh, that's easy.
Article of clothing you own?
Back in football, I bought one of them Tommy Bahama red button-down, it's not a Hawaiian, but red button-down short-sleeve shirts over from Robert and the staff over at Stadium Shop. So that's my favorite red Razorback shirt, without question.
What about you, Chuck? You got a lot of them, man. You look good.
Well, right now it's a red Razorback hoodie.
Yeah.
I mean, this time of year,
right.
Whatever hoodie you got's the best one.
Oh man, yeah, those are comfortable. I have a retro red 94 national championship shirt that is one of the most valuable possessions I own, not in terms of value, but just in terms of likeness. I would say that would definitely have to be it. I like when they've done the red outs and the white outs inside of Bud Walton Arena, but I would, and I know there's only one version of Razorback red. Do you guys get a little ticked off when people are wearing off-color non-Razorback gear, or what's the non-Razorback red Razorback stuff? You get frustrated, or when you see the front hog logo?
No,
got other things to worry about. Yeah,
that doesn't bother me.
What I do get upset with is when the block A and the script A, and one's Alabama and one's Arkansas, and someone who bought the merchandise for that store clearly screwed up and didn't know what they were doing, and they try to sneak that Alabama stuff, and they're thinking it's Arkansas stuff.
Geez.
You got to, I've run across that a few times where
there was a time way back in the day. If you look at some of Arkansas's old baseball ball caps and their uniforms, that is what is now the Alabama A. And it was very, very similar to what is now the Alabama A. I don't know when they went exclusively to the Old English A, but you go way back. I can. There was it was a different A than it is now.
I want to get some of the shirts that Muss and company get their hands on. Those coaching shirts and they have a different one for each game. I mean, they have some, and it's not just red.
I don't think those are for sale.
Yeah.
I think those are exclusive. Those are exclusive to them.
Got a big shirt budget over there.
Yeah.
He has changed the coaching profession in terms of wear.
And maybe we noticed.
I don't know if he's changed it, but I mean,
guys, I agree with Ty. How many guys you see wearing suits anymore? I know Buzz Williams does, but that's his deal. That's his brand. Suit and tie used to be.
Well, Bobby
the standard.
Knight was the first one that stopped doing it.
But the sweater, him and what was it, Lou Carnesecca? Am I saying his last name right?
Lou Carnesecca was the sweater
Red
guy.
Storm.
Yeah, but up until Musk got here, everybody seemingly in this league and around college basketball wore coat and tie. And now you see
changed.
Like less than half of the guys.
Well, I mean, it's a much more casual world. I can just tell you, within athletic departments, I'll just use ours as an example. There was a period we went through where, if you were going to be, one of the movers and shakers, you had to have a white shirt and tie on every day. And it's a little more casual now.
Yeah. We can credit Musk, but I think it's really COVID. We all got a lot more casual following COVID and coming through all that. Hey, one thing you can do, whether it's the Arkansas game for this weekend, college basketball, or you're thinking about Super Sunday coming up, make sure you got the Bet Saracen app. You can download it at the Apple App Store or go to betsaracen.com. All the Vegas-style odds are right there, but this is with an licensed Arkansas company with Bet Saracen. So whether it's the NFL, college football, NBA basketball, Bet Saracen is where you want to be. It's just that simple. So go to the Apple App Store or, again, betsaracen.com and watch the video for all the tips on how to use the Bet Saracen app.
We got our SEC update coming up in just a bit. We'll also talk some more football on the other side of the Morning Rush.
You're in the middle of Fast Break Friday on the Morning Rush presented by QC Kinetics. Get real lasting relief from chronic joint pain.
When you need a plumber, call the name you know and trust. Ashley Air. The same great people that take care of your heating and cooling system.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacale.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sockeye, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from the NFL and bowl season to esports. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. We're the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Ed Sheeran used to sing in the church choir, but now bad habits reveal his desire. The old saying goes, sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. God knows you can't overcome. That's why the faith that saves is trusting what Jesus has already done. There's nothing else you can say or use or do. Bad habits lead to doom. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. One call cleans it all. When you stay overnight, you want the accommodations to feel comfortable and feel like home. Well, at Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, you get exactly that. You can check out all their locations at bphotels.com. They have locations in Fayetteville, Bentonville, Little Rock, Jonesboro, Conway, El Dorado, Arkadelphia, North Little Rock, Bryant, Hot Springs, Ardmore, Oklahoma, and coming soon to Kansas City. bphotels.com. Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, looking forward to serving you in 2023.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yeah.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache. Are you a qualified CDL driver with local or over-the-road experience? Tired of driving older equipment? Not having enough home time? Feel like a number? You need Patriot Transport. Patriot Transport, based in Centerville, with locations in Russellville and Van Buren, provides you with late model equipment, has a family atmosphere, and provides you the opportunity to make $95,000 per year. Patriot Transport works with you to get the miles you want and the family time you need. Change your life today. Visit patriottransport.com to apply. That's patriottransport.com.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Y'all ready for this?
You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Tommy's telling all the employees when he gives them scrapers on their cars so they won't miss work, hey, you guys make sure you don't slip here at the building. If you're going to fall, you get off the property here before you fall. Ty, when he starts bringing in sleeping bags, that's when you know you're in trouble.
Yeah. All right, let's talk some football here on the Morning Rush. 877-377-6963. A couple new hires made recently. We're going to talk about what the guys had to say coming up. But first, let's talk to our friend Larry Rath of Rath Auto Resources. Larry, good morning. First part of February, man.
Hey, good morning, guys. That's right. And, I'm heading down the hill right now, and it is bright, sunshiny out here on top of the mountains. Fantastic to see some sunshine. It's going to be a big weekend. Rath Auto Resources in Fort Smith, Rath Mitsubishi in Springdale. We got some big news up there in Springdale yesterday. Rath Mitsubishi, the #1 customer satisfaction dealer in a 25-state region. We're really proud of that, folks. If you're looking for a quality experience on a quality car and you want to save some money, Rath Mitsubishi can get you in one of these brand new 23 Outlanders, maybe the Eclipse Cross. We even got the Mirage if you're looking for something to really save you some money, save you some gas. The Outlander Sport's a fantastic vehicle. It's the right size. It's cheaper than a used car. We've got some great selection up there. And the used car business right now, this time of year, guys, is fixing to really ramp up, and we've got it. Big inventory, cars, trucks, SUVs, all the different price ranges. We're going to make it easy for you to get your nicer, newer car at Rath Auto Resources in Fort Smith or Rath Mitsubishi in Springdale. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in our Meineke Car Care Centers, and we're now offering the Meineke Mile service contracts. Don't buy a service contract over the phone or off the computer. Come to where they have a great shop and a great history of customer satisfaction. Buy it from our Meineke Car Care Centers. That's the Meineke Mile vehicle service contracts and prepaid maintenance. So lots of great things going on. We're still all about the inflation elimination. Let us save you some money and get you driving better today. Rath Auto Resources in Fort Smith, Rath Mitsubishi in Springdale. Check us out online, rathauto.com.
All right, that's Rath Auto Resources, Fort Smith, and in Springdale. Larry, enjoy the weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys. Y'all have a good one, and folks, come and see us.
Guys, I know that Sam Pittman was kind of joking earlier this week about Marcus Woodson's age, but you made a lot of young hires this offseason relative to what's kind of changing in college football was just going that route. Is that going to be more continuous? Are we going to see more and more young coaches? And, I mean, Wilson just got a plan a little over a decade ago.
So much of this is about recruiting. I mean, so much of it is. And so that does not surprise me. I think that that's a trend at a lot of places. And look, you've got to have a mix on your staff. I mean, you've got to have I believe you've got to have an old hand or two, but you've also got to have a couple of guys on there that they live and breathe it every day still. I mean, Ty, just for example, I mean, when you're young and single like you are, I mean, you can throw yourself into something 24/7. When you're an older guy and you got, 3 or 4 kids out there and a wife, it's different. I mean, it just is. And so you need a mix on your staff. And I like what he's done. But yes, I think every staff is going to have, you're going to have some younger people on there because so much of it is about recruiting. And I mean, recruiting's different than it used to be, and they like to. You've got to you've got to be relatable all the time.
And Sam Pittman's even talked about it's not just recruiting new players; you're re-recruiting your current players all the time,
every
anymore.
day, and every day.
That for some that would be an exhausting practice and an exhausting process to go through. So it's changed so much. I don't know that it's for everyone anymore, guys.
Well, you can't have a bunch of old school guys on your staff.
Yeah.
Nor can you have a bunch of, what I'd call players coaches. I mean, you can be tough on them and be a players coach, but I mean, you got to have some guys that are hard on them, and then you got to have the position coach be an advocate for that player. There's a delicate dance there that goes on within every team.
You brought up something interesting there, Tommy. I wonder, when a guy starts going off and having a great season, how many times do you think he gets reached out to by opposing players? And I know they're not supposed to, apparently, but opposing coaching staffs about just piquing the interest of him possibly transferring.
I wouldn't know how to measure that.
When you talk about recruiting your own guys, there are guys that have no intention of leaving whatsoever, but are reached out to. Mm-hmm. And then there are guys that are seeing what's out there. And they're like, Coach, I need this to stay here. I'm speculating on that. But
I think a lot of it is what they see their friends getting, or what they see players that they consider to be their peers getting. Or this guy's not as good as me, and I'm not getting what he is. Or, man, I need a better car. Or, I think that probably plays into it more than anything else.
I just got to imagine for a coach that's been doing it for 30 years, 40 years, whatever, he's got a lot of gray around the temple. That's not what he's used to. This changing world, you're either going to get on with it or you're probably going to move on to something else pretty quick, because I can see how it's exhausting. And we've seen some experienced Hall of Fame coaches in basketball, and I think you'll see more in football that just say, I'm done. Not going to do this.
Well, Krzyzewski was at the point where he needed to retire anyway, and Roy Williams was getting there too. So I mean, I don't know that that's solely. Those are two guys everyone points to in basketball. I don't know that was solely the deal. Here's the thing: if you're 60 years old and you're making $5 million a year. I mean, there's nothing else you're going to be able to do to make that kind of money. So you either adapt or you don't make that kind of money anymore.
It's Fast Break Fridays, brought to you by QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in this exciting treatment that can heal the joints in your body using properties from your own body. Times have changed, and regenerative medicine can get you moving again with no downtime. Stop taking pain meds and discover the remarkable alternative that pro athletes have been using for years. 479-999-1234 is their number. That's 999-1234 for QC Kinetics right here in Northwest Arkansas.
SEC update and Lang Whitman coming up when we return on the Morning Rush.
You're in the middle of Fast Break Friday on the Morning Rush, presented by QC Kinetics. Get real lasting relief from chronic joint pain.
When you need a plumber, call the name you know and trust, Ashley Air. The same great people that take care of your heating and cooling system can also meet your plumbing needs. Right now, take $50 off any plumbing repair or get a $129 drain cleaning plus a 2-year parts and labor warranty. Restrictions apply. If you have clogged drains, Ashley Air is the one to call. Go to AshleyAir.com to schedule your plumbing service. That's AshleyAir.com. Proud sponsors of Razorback Athletics.
I am not who you say I am. I'm a pastor.
I am a caregiver.
I am a father.
I am a friend.
I'm a doctor.
Chances are someone you know and love is struggling with substance use disorder, but recovery is possible. Help starts when we stop stigma, view each other with compassion, and reach out for help. Call 1-800-622-HELP to get started. This message sponsored by the North Arkansas Partnership for Health Education and supported by grant number 2018-AR-BX-KO85 awarded by the Bureau of Justice Assistance.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
And we're back with breaking news. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any Coke fan, so make sure you... Jim. Jim. We're on the air.
Ooh, yes, this tastes like the best Coke ever to me. Your thoughts, Jen?
Well, can I have a sip?
Jen, we're in the middle of reporting the news.
I need to try it first.
We will make your life easier. Jody'sAuto.com will pick up your vehicle at your office or home or wherever. Take it to one of our 3 locations in Van Buren and Fort Smith. Perform any service your vehicle will ever need and deliver your vehicle back to you. Hi, Kim Bircher with Jody'sAuto.com. No missing work, no finding a sitter, no sitting in a waiting room, no wasting your precious time that you don't have. Many of our customers tell us, you're saving me money. Pick up and delivery, it's free when you spend $75 and only $10 if less. With our 3 oil change specials, you're going to find adding $10 will mean nothing. And we always have free shuttle service. You bring your vehicle to us and we will take you and pick you up in our vehicle. Honesty and customer service is always our number one goal. We will make your life much easier. Jody'sAuto.com. JODYSauto.com.
If you farm, you have enough to worry about without worrying about how much more you're going to owe once your current variable or balloon interest rate increases. Interest rates are on the rise. This is the time to check out Farm Credit's long-term fixed rate options. Farm Credit offers the longest terms in the ag industry. Long-term fixed rates mean there's no surprises and your payments remain the same for the life of your loan. That's peace of mind in this changing interest rate climate. Find a Farm Credit office near you at myaglender.com. Set your operation up for success and rest easy. Equal housing lender.
With over 40 years combined experience, the team at the law offices of Craig L. Cook understand the definition of work. Real work. Working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Hi, this is Ricky Smith, head basketball coach for the Northside Lady Bears. I dial 782-8940. That's 782-8940.
This is Northside head basketball coach Eric Burnett. I call 782-8940. That's 782-8940.
Take advantage of York Factory rebates on high-efficiency HVAC products.
782-8940.
Happy New Year, everyone. Hi, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, the home of inflation elimination. That's right, we've had enough. Thanks to our live market value pricing, our prices are dropping and our customers are saving now. And you can too on a great selection of Rath Road Ready vehicles, the best used cars you can buy. Plus, our non-commissioned solution specialists are there for you. Let them worry about making all the numbers work. It's what they're paid to do. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in our Meineke Car Care Center with half-off brakes and buy 3 get 1 free on all tires. For even more savings and protection, ask about our new Meineke Mile service contracts and prepaid maintenance products. They'll help you keep your car in tip-top shape while saving you money. So if you're like us and you want 23 to be the best year ever and you're ready for some inflation elimination, start today by driving better in a nicer, newer car from Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online at rathauto.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Somebody said we've got SEC bias. Deal with it. They're the best.
In the SEC, it just means more.
I know one thing. The SEC just got a little tougher.
This is your SEC update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Ashley Air. Keeping your home comfortable is what they do best. Trust them with your heating and cooling needs. Go to AshleyAir.com to request service today.
So Arkansas and South Carolina play tomorrow at 2:30 on SEC Network, right here on ESPN Arkansas at hitthatline.com. Tommy, they announced yesterday that the Razorbacks and the Wildcats will play Rupp Arena at 8 o'clock Central Time on ESPN. Means it's 9 Eastern where Chuck's going to be at. Chuck's going to get back late that night, as we said with him earlier.
You got back-to-back road games, Saturday, then Tuesday. Does the later start give you a few more hours to rest? Yes, I don't know what edge or advantage that is, but it is. You know, you play kind of earlier in the day, early afternoon in Columbia. So, if nothing else at this point, it gives you 2 or 3, 4 more hours than you'd have if the schedule had you late Saturday night and early Tuesday morning. So, every little thing matters when you're going to a place like Lexington, Kentucky.
Yep. It is going to be a tough matchup on Tuesday night. Can't wait, though. Other SEC news, Nate Oates reportedly gets a raise at Alabama, 6 years, $5 million plus incentives.
Half of what Saban makes.
Yeah, he's doing well for himself, one of the top paid coaches in all of college basketball. And Nia Smith.
Isn't it amazing how $5 million's in the bottom 3 in football, $5 million's in the top 3 in basketball in this league? That's a pretty telling deal right there.
It's all about generating revenue, as I've learned in football. As much as the basketball team's been good for Bama this year, it's just not what they do in Bryant-Denny Stadium. Nia Smith coming back for another year at Texas A&M. Yippee. Wasn't great to hear that news. I know Zach Arns is pushing hard for Tommy Rees to become Bama's new offensive coordinator because he doesn't think Rees is worth the lick. We'll see if that ends up happening.
That's why Saban's hiring him, because he's terrible at his job. Exactly.
Telling you what Arns thinks, man.
That doesn't make it right.
I know. I'm just sharing that. SEC tournament, if you are interested in going to Nashville, if you're a Razorback Foundation member, the deadline to request your tickets is Monday, coming up February 6th. The all-session prices range from $360 to $450. Y'all just buy them there outside the arena. It's cheaper that way to do it. I've done it plenty of times. I've had friends that live there that do the same thing. If you just want to see a Razorback game, you get...
Unless they're playing Kentucky, then you may not get a ticket.
That Thursday...
Or Tennessee.
Well, even those early games, they won't sell those out. The Thursday, they don't start selling the games out, Tommy, in Bridgestone. Till Saturday. So the Thursday and Friday, you can be okay by just doing
what you need to do, though, is... try to find that person whose team gets eliminated and they bought the whole book and then buy the rest of their book once their team's done.
Ding, ding, ding.
But I'm telling you, Kentucky games are hard to get tickets to over there. Tennessee, I presume, would be more difficult as well, but probably not as hard as Kentucky. It doesn't really matter if Kentucky's a 5 seed or the 2 seed in this tournament. They're bringing a crowd with them because for a lot of Kentucky fans, the conference tournament might be their only way to see their team play in person, because getting a ticket into Rupp, it's been easier the last few years, but not, historically. It's like Arkansas back in the day at Reunion Arena. You'd go to Dallas because you didn't get to go to Barnhill. You got to go to Reunion. That was your chance to see your team play. You know what's wild about Lexington and Knoxville? Lexington's only about 20, 30 more miles than Knoxville is away from Nashville. I mean, they're both, you got Lexington up top and Knoxville to the east. I mean, they're really close in proximity. The SEC championship game between the Cats and the Vols years ago was one of the craziest atmospheres I've ever been in. It was nuts. Yeah, if Tennessee and Kentucky end up playing in the league tournament, that'll be a full house and a hard ticket on the street. So it'd be expensive on the sidewalk for that one. Tampa was fun playing in the Lightning Arena last year, Amher or whatever you say. It was a lot of cool, but it's in Nashville for a long time. That's going to do it for your SEC update. It's brought to you by Ashley Air. Hey, when you need a plumber, call the name you know and trust. That's Ashley Air. The same great people that take care of your heating and cooling system can also meet your plumbing needs. Take $50 off any plumbing repair or get a $129 drain cleaning plus a 2-year parts and labor warranty. Clogged drains, leaky faucets, we call Ashley Air. Go to ashley.air.com to schedule your plumbing service today. That's ashley.air.com, proud sponsors of Razorback Athletics. All right, time to check in for another weekend at Oaklawn that's coming up. Our Oaklawn update is brought to you by Marshall's Management and by Calico County in Fort Smith. Lang Whitman joins us now. It's another big weekend coming up at the track. Lang, good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys doing today?
We are doing well, coming through the fog, getting over some cold weather. If you had to race a few days ago, Oaklawn probably would have had to call it a day because of weather conditions, but looks like this weekend we're going to have some great weather to get back on the track beginning today.
Yeah, you're right. Some years in the past, when that weather hits on the weekend, Oaklawn has to cancel. Looks like they dodged it this week, and everybody dodged a few days off of work as well. Yeah. So track should be in good shape for this weekend. Jockey and trainer standings. A lot of us look at those when we're making our bets at the window or on the app. How do we look coming into this weekend? No change in the order of the jockey or the trainer standings. Christian Torres still leads the way with 28 wins, followed by Rafael Bejarano with 23, Francisco Arrieta third with 22. Ricardo Santana, perennial Oaklawn riding champion, is now lurking just behind them with 17 wins off of 30 or 40 fewer mounts than those guys in front of him. So he's going to be moving up that chart as we go along. And as far as the trainers, still no change there either. Robertino Diodoro leads the way with 23, trainer Chris Hartman with 16, and Ron Moquette with 11. A couple weeks ago mentioned that Steve Asmussen was off to a slow start with only 4 wins. He's now creeping up. He has 9 wins now, and he'll crack that top 3 soon enough.
So last weekend we saw the Southwest Stakes, and it was a big weekend with 3 stakes races. This weekend, not 3, but still a nice $250,000 stakes race. It's the Bayacoa. Am I saying that right? The Bayacoa Stakes on Saturday?
You are saying that correctly, and yes, it is a grade 3 race at a mile and 16th for $250,000, as you mentioned. It's a prelude to the grade 1 Apple Blossom Stakes later on in the meet. It has a field of 7 horses scheduled to start, and I think this is going to be a great betting race. There's 5 horses with a morning line between 5 to 2 and 5 to 1, so lots of different options there for the bettors. Like I said, fantastic race to watch, fantastic race to wager on. Lovely ride. I believe it's probably going to be the favorite, the winner from the Pippin Stakes earlier in the meet. Mo Ray is going to be tough as well. My pick might end up being Ice Orchid with Ricardo Santana aboard. I'll dive into this race a little more tonight, but I picked Ice Orchid, I believe, in the Pippin. Ran second to Lovely Ride. Maybe she can turn the tide here.
All right, I see your best bet for today. It's in the 8th race. It brings a smile to my face because who the trainer is. My old friend Ernie Witt Jr., who I guess 23, 24 years ago, me and him were doing a morning sports talk radio show together. So tell us about your best bet today with my old buddy from Fort Smith, Ernie Witt.
I thought you and Ernie had that relationship, and that's not why I picked the horse, but I do know that you would like that when I decided that was making my best bet today. Race 8, horse number 2, Kaboom Baby, at 7-2 on the morning line for Ernie Witt. I think there's a lot to like about this 5-year-old mare. She loves the 6 furlong distance with 9 starts in her career, 7 times in the money, including 2 wins. She's only ever ran at Oaklawn Park in her 11 career starts, but earned over $220,000 in those 11 starts, 8 times to finish in the money. Her race December 30th was her first start in about 7 months, and she understandably got tired in the stretch, missed winning by about 5 lengths. But obviously, she's going to be more fit today. She has that tune-up race under her belt. She's got regular rider Luis Quinones in the saddle. I see her sitting just off this pace and trying to motor past all her rivals in the stretch today, try to get the win for Ernie.
All right, at the Railbird 333 to get the picks, Twitter, Facebook, that's where you can sign up. You can get them by the day, the weekend, or for the entire meet. How have you done? What do your percentages look like, if you don't mind me asking?
Right now, my top pick is winning at a rate of around 28%. I send out 4 picks, my top 4 picks every race. One of those horses has won at about 72% of the time. So I'm trying to get to 30%, 75% is my goals each year, and the percentages are going up as we get further into the meet. Gets a little more data on these horses, a little bit easier to do.
All right, at the Railbird 333, find them whichever social media platform you use, and Lane can get you up. And I like him because, Lane, you text him right to my phone. So, and you even give us some bonus hoops picks, I see, for the weekend. So, at the Railbird 333. Lang, have another good weekend, and we'll talk to you next Friday.
All right. Thanks for having me on, Tommy. Always look forward to it.
All right, Lang Whitman with us Fridays here for a little preview of Oaklawn. Our update is brought to you by Calico County, just off Rogers Avenue behind Randall Ford, and by Marshall's Management. If you're a real estate investor and you're looking for a better solution to manage your property, Marshall's Management Group. It's locally owned, fully staffed, ready to take care of your lifelong investments because they understand it's not just buildings, it's your money. And Marshall's Management will maximize your bottom line. Call Marshall's Management Group, 479-242-7081. That's 242-7081, or online at marshallsrentals.com.
Talking about betting here, what is your sure bet heading into this Arkansas-South Carolina game tomorrow? If you had some money to wager on, what are you positive that's going to happen?
I'd take the over on the turnovers, the combined turnovers. Whatever that number, 28.5. Give me the over, Chuck.
Arkansas is 13th in the SEC. South Carolina dead last, 14 in turnovers per game. We'll see if this Arkansas team can keep a hold on that tomorrow. So that'll take up a good chunk of our time. 2:30 tomorrow. ESPN Arkansas, hitthatline.com. Again, Chuck's podcast will start at 1:30, and then you'll hear from Chuck and Zeke courtside starting at 2 o'clock, and then DQ and I will have post-game after that as well. You got big plans this weekend?
Daughter's got a cheer competition. There's makeup high school basketball going on everywhere Saturday. Sunday, you got a pretty full day of work to get ready for next week. So, no, I mean, I got a lot going on, but nothing like, well, here's the big deal of the weekend. So we're rooting for another grand championship in competitive cheer this weekend.
Latched on that. You're a good dad. I know that's probably not it's your daughter. I know that you don't go to cheer competitions that don't feature your daughter. You're a good father. I'll give you credit on that.
There's a guy that goes, and he's, I don't say he's famous, maybe he's infamous, but they take pictures, or his family does, at these cheer competitions of him falling asleep and taking a nap in his chair with his arms crossed like you cross his.
And he has a daughter competing.
Well, so that's the deal is So I'm just striving not to quite take a full nap, but man, we're all in the wrong business. We should have gotten the competitive cheer business for
sucking your bank account dry. It sounds like,
man, but it's going into someone else's bank account. So clearly, we chose the wrong path.
I thought radio was lucrative. I thought it was easily monetized.
Who told you that?
I don't know, man. I guess I just have to do it for the love of the game, I guess, just like I have been.
Marry for money so you can do radio for love.
All right. Well, I'll keep that in mind and whenever that ends up happening. Again, I'm excited about tomorrow. Hopefully they get their first road win of the season. I don't have anything planned this weekend. I am going to now this might sound bad. Is it bad if you don't know your grandma's age, even though you're going to her birthday party?
Absolutely. It's terrible.
I'm going to have to text my
terrible grandson.
uncle. I'm a good grandson. I give her calls.
Well, you would know how, I mean, if you picked out a card, do you know if it's the 90th or 85th or the appropriate card to
Couldn't
get?
tell you. Couldn't. I think she's 90-something, I think.
90-something.
We're going to celebrate in Hattieville, Arkansas. Everybody have a great weekend. Arkansas and South Carolina do it in Columbia tomorrow.
Semaglutide is a weight loss game changer. That's what the medical community is saying about the latest FDA-approved weight loss medication. Vici Aesthetics and Wellness is offering a detailed program to all of Arkansas, in-office or telemedicine visits available. So to schedule your medical consultation and get started on the #1 prescription choice by medical professionals for